right, all right. Yeah, day 2, baby. We are in the house, and I don't know, Paul. Do you think they're ready for day 2? Man, I heard from a few of you guys, and you said I dropped the bomb on you yesterday. We we definitely went there. We went there yesterday, and that's why I love these boot camps, because we really get to spread out. We get to kind of know each other, and we get to have fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see not everybody's back for day 2, and I don't blame them. It's like, and of course, people have things to do, but yesterday was pretty heavy. But was it tolerable? It was okay. It was
It was
okay, right?
very excellent. It was, yes. If you want to do real estate, it was tolerable. That's why you're dropping a
Yeah.
bomb on us today.
Hey, we about to hit it today.
I gotta
So
say it was needed.
yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And Steve, you mentioned something about you started doing the homework. Tell us about that.
Do I have to?
It was easy breezy, huh?
I scored low in multiple categories, sir.
That's okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually okay. It's interesting because when I took the test for being a mega agent, I scored the lowest you could score, like super duper low. And even though I do technically have a handicap in that area, the reality is I know my profile, I know my personality. And so I just wrapped the business around who I am, and I made it work. And it wasn't hard, by the way. See, the cool thing about when you hone your superpower, Steve, is that now you're in your zone of genius and you're doing business your way, according to how you're wired, okay? And that's what makes it more fun. When you start doing it somebody else's way, maybe my way if it's not yours, and maybe you're not my personality profile, maybe you are, you start doing it somebody else's way, or that somebody taught you how to do it that's not your profile, it's going to be hard for you. It's going to be like, this doesn't feel good. I don't like making these calls. I don't like doing this stuff. But when you start doing it according to your profile, it really becomes easy. One in the Millionaire Master Plan by Roger Hamilton, he tells the story of this guy that owned a restaurant. I've shared this story with some of you before. This guy owned a Italian restaurant, and he spent most of his time in the kitchen and doing the books and all this stuff. And it was hard. It was a struggle. It was really hard for this guy. And finally, when he found out what his personality was, his profile, he's a people guy. He's a people person. He thrived much better around people. And so what they did, his coach said, you need to get out of the kitchen, and all you need to do, because like once every evening he would go and meet the guests and say hello and greet them and everything. And that was like their highlight of the night. Okay. And so they just moved his position to where all he did, even though he was the owner of the company, all he did was go and greet customers as they came in. And he just, would BS with them, for lack of a better term. I mean, he would just go from table to table, chatting it up, pour a glass of wine, high-fiving people. And the restaurant, I think it quadrupled. You'll read the story there, but he was now in his zone of genius, and going to work was now fun for him. Okay. I was coaching a gal, one of my one-on-one coaching students yesterday. And for her, actually going to events, like her 2 hours of lead generation every day that I teach is just going to an event, like go to a party every day, like when you can find one. And she does more business at those networking events than she would do sitting behind a desk trying to make cold calls. So, you operate it within your zone of genius. Thank you for doing the homework, Steve. I appreciate that. I know some of you had a little bit of trouble, getting to the homework. You couldn't find the test. I did post out where to get to find the test. If you're in our coaching club, if you're in our mentorship masters, we got all those tests there in the portal. But for the Knolly coaching club, we also have a portal. You have you set up an account, you have your username and password. Some stuff wasn't working yesterday, but I did get it working this morning. I think it should be working now, to where you can go in and take all of those. And I'll show you around there. If any of you are kind of stuck on that, I can kind of show you around as well. Anything else in the chat? Anything that you guys want to discuss before we jump into day 2? I see Maurice is in the house, joined us as well. Glad you're here, Maurice. I know Maurice was not able to, or Maurice says you're not meant to be perfect, but the best version of yourself. Yeah, and that best version of yourself, Maurice, just keeps getting better and better, because the you that you are today is not the you that you'll be tomorrow. Bradford is in the house again. He said, I kind of kicked his butt yesterday, so that's cool. My choice of tunes is taking him back. Yeah, I like that, Steve. Yeah, it's taking you back. I'm such a diverse music lover. My favorite music of all time, most people would not know this about me. If you ever get a Knolly trivia, which may never happen, my very favorite music of all time is big band. Okay, that's my favorite music of all time. I love the big band era. You're talking about the 1940s mostly, but 20s, 30s, 40s. I love that old jazz. But there's so many styles of music that I like that it's just ridiculous. It's crazy. Okay, so
Knolly, I have a comment.
yeah, sure. You bet. Sure.
I'm guilty of this, and maybe others are as well, that when if you're like me, you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you see who the big players are in EXP and other brokerages and how they run their day. And it can become this almost like a curse, like, well, I'm not successful if I'm not doing cold calls, if I don't call expireds, if I don't do all these things that some of my colleagues are doing. Maybe that's the reps they get in that work for them, and we got to decide what are the reps that work for us, because like you mentioning that other person that goes to events, I love to do that.
Yeah,
I'm not a wallflower. I love to be out in public. I like to check out new coffee shops, new merchants, and different things, events, networking events. That's where I'm like having a lot of fun.
yeah.
So
absolutely.
I want to incorporate more of that, so that people actually see that I'm in business.
Yeah, the thing about when you do your business that way is intention. Remember when yesterday I said set an intention for the boot camp. Like, what's your intention being here? So when you go to an event, Steve, let's say, for example, I say, which I teach 2 hours of lead generation every day. Now, technically you could do 90 minutes, okay, and probably still get the same amount of work done. Scientifically, it's been proven that 90 minutes is kind of that threshold. But I teach 2 hours just because I had a mentor that taught 3 hours or 4 hours. And I found that it just didn't take that long if you were consistent. Okay. And so if you say, you know what, Knolly says I have to lead generate every single day for 90 minutes to 2 hours. And I'm going to choose to go to events and do that. Okay. So, but you have to be intentional about it. So when you go to the event, you say, okay, what's my intention for this event? You write it down. My intention for this event is I intend to make 2 or 3, 3 connections with people that can start to refer me business. And I want to have fun. You just set the intention so that, and the reason you do that is that when you go to the event, you actually have an intention. You've already trained your subconscious mind that this is the reason we're going. And that's what I want you to bring for me. See, most people don't realize, Steve, and those of you here, some of you guys might know this, but a lot of people say they know it, but they really don't live like they know it, is that basically everything happens at the subatomic level. Everything that you see happens at the subatomic level. Everything's energy, and so anything you can name, even this iPhone, case. I mean, what are these AirPod case? This whole thing, this design was created out of the imagination. Okay. Everything in this world that you see that wasn't physically put here by God was created it was either created by the imagination of God, which is the world that we see. Like I'm looking at trees. I was on the sand this morning, the ocean, the fish. I saw the fish. I caught a lizard this morning, took a video of that, and so on. Okay. Those were all things that were created from the imagination of God. Now, everything else was created by the imagination of man. Okay, you have to understand this. Everything begins in the imagination. From the imagination, it becomes reality. It becomes what we see, touch, taste, experience, and feel, and so on. So you actually are you create the life that you want to have. And a lot of times, Steve, when you see things on YouTube, by the way, if you ask 100 agents how they succeeded or how they got to the level of success that they are, they'll get 100 answers. It's all different. I remember Lance Loken. Let me tell you about him real quick. And then thank you. What is this? Orange juice and orange juice and lots of boosters. Fresh squeeze too, boy. That was so good. All right. So Lance Loken, let me tell you about him. Lance Loken, I've lost track of him. I don't know what he's up to these days, but we were at a conference together, and I was a speaker, Lance was a speaker, and there was another speaker that was very well known. His name escapes me now, but if I said his name, you know who he is. So we were the three main speakers for this big event in Rhode Island. And so we flew in, Josie and I flew in, we stayed in Bristol. Man, it was really nice. We stayed at our Airbnb. It was so nice. And then we go to the event, packed out, 300 plus people. And they're playing Saturday Night Fever. I'm dancing, I'm having fun, boy. I'm having a good time. And Lance was there. I was the keynote. And so Lance was there because Lance sells 1,200 houses a year. Back then, that's what he was selling. How many? 100 homes a month. Okay, so you would think, man, this guy's busting it, boy. He's cold calling, he's doing this, he's doing whatever. Well, so Lance gets up and he speaks, and he's I mean, you know, I love Lance, great guy, beautiful guy, but I mean, he's not a public speaker. Okay, I'll just say that. Okay, he's not a public speaker. No shame in that. That's just not him. He's a real guy that does real production and just got up there and shared what he did. And so it was lunchtime, and Josie and I were going back to our room. We saw Lance in the elevator, and you know, we're going back to our room. We're gonna freshen up, man. It's time for lunch. We're gonna go say some high fives. We're gonna do some stuff. We're like, hey, Lance, what's up, man? What time? Where are you gonna be at? He says, no, I'm going to the room. I said, yeah, we're going to the room too. We're gonna freshen up. But like, where are you going after that? He says, I'm done. It's like, yeah, dude. But I'm saying, like, where are you going? Like after you freshen up? He says, man, I'm not coming back out of my room, dude. I'm done. And I was like, okay, moment of truth. I was like, what's going on, man? Is everything okay? He said, yeah, everything's great. I'm good. He says, but I don't really like being around people. Okay. I was like, you don't like being around people? You sell 100 homes a month, bro. He said, yeah, I like selling houses, but I don't really like being around people. So basically what Lance did, he was just being honest. I mean, he was done. Like some of you, maybe in the sound of my voice right now, like just being around people just drains you. Like going to the mall and being on these big groups, and it's like, you know, it's just, I'm like that a little bit. I mean, we went to an event this weekend, and I told my wife, I said, I got to go home. This hammock is calling my name. There's a lot of people. It was fun and everything, but I was like, I'm good. You know, I'm done, you know. When it's a business conference, it's a little different for me, but this was just social stuff. So anyway, what Lance did, Steve, to make that long story shorter, he basically created a system where he basically never had to go on a listing appointment. He never had to meet with the client. He never had to talk to the client. He created a business model where it was wrapped around who he is as a person. Okay. So essentially he became sort of the like Glenn Sanford. Okay. If you think about EXP, Glenn Sanford, I remember when I was recruited to Keller Williams by Gary Keller. And finally I would go and visit Gary in what they call the basement. Okay. His office was like in a basement type section of the building. And they basically told us they relegated him to that area because Gary was not great around people. I mean, I hate to say it, there's no other way to say it. He's just a genius, but you know, some of us geniuses are just not that good around the public, right? And so Gary, that's what they did with him. And Glenn is great with people, but you know, Glenn is more of a visionary. You know, he's not going to be a grand public speaker and all. I mean, you know, he is who he is. And that's the whole point, is be who you are. You don't have to be anything other than who you are in this business. If you don't like people, you don't like shaking hands, you don't like sitting down with people, you can still sell 100 homes a month. Okay. That's what I want you to understand. And hopefully you guys are getting that. And that's reason why so many in this business fail, is because they don't actually hone their superpower. They don't wrap their business around who you are, who they are. So that's very important. I'm glad you brought that up, Steve. You don't have to do business like anybody else. And that's a fact, okay, to succeed. Now, what I want to do, you kind of got me a little on a tangent there. Steve has a tendency to do that. Have y'all noticed? There's always a troublemaker in the class, but I'm glad because you're saying what a lot of us don't want to say, Steve, and I appreciate that about you. Oh, Maurice said Knolly is preaching. Thank you, brother. You know, I let the Holy Spirit take over and teach his people what he wants them to learn. Or you could say she. I wouldn't get offended if some people say the Holy Spirit is a she. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. We'll talk about that some other time. Okay. All right. So let's get into let me share my screen, because we do have you know, I always say we have a lot of ground to cover. That's how I roll with my trainings. Definitely there's less people today, and I can't say I blame you know, there being less people. So let's talk about this. So day 2, yes, you guys can see my screen. Yep, thumbs up. Let me see, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so day 2 is we're going to talk about balancing your business and delegating your business. Now let's look on the map and see exactly where we are. Yesterday, we talked about honing your superpower and evaluating your business. Now, here's a very important thing that I want you to understand, and I think you understand it, so we can move on. Uncle Knolly doesn't have to harp on this point too much, but the fact that so many entrepreneurs build their business on the styles, and Steve talked about this, on the styles of others and what others are doing. Oh, they're doing funnels. I need to have a funnel. Oh, they're doing expires. I need to do expires. Oh, they're doing, you know, new home construction funnel. I got to do that. Oh, he's doing this. I got to do that. Oh, this person is you know, that guy's become a coach. I got to become a coach. You know, this is not the truth, guys. You got to understand that the truth is you have to be who you are. And Superman does not have to be Batman. Batman does not have to be the Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk does not have to be Aquaman, and so on. And Thor does not have to be someone else. You have, and this is why, even though it's corny, you have a unique superpower that is uniquely you. And when you don't hone your superpower and you operate in business, any business, when you operate in business outside of who you are, well, Grant Cardone said, I got to do this. Well, Grant Cardone said what he does. Okay. And if you happen to be the exact personality profile of Grant Cardone, that might work for you, actually, you know, but there's much more to it than just the personality profile, by the way. Okay. There's a whole lot more to it, which we'll see. So you got to hone your superpower to begin with, or else your journey will be quite miserable in your quest for greatness and your quest for the riches and for the glory, the fame, and the money will be a miserable journey. I like to have fun with it. Okay. And then we evaluated our business. We didn't judge our business. We just evaluated. We have to see where we are in order to kind of know where we're going. We have to look and see, okay, where are we at right now? What do we really need to work on? So we looked at those 5 key areas of your business. And if you weren't here yesterday, you want to go back and you know, listen in on yesterday. And even if you were here, you probably want to go back and listen in. So that's the foundation of it. Now we're going to get into balancing your business and delegating. Okay. So that's definitely quite a bit of ground to cover in those 2 pieces, but we're seriously going to get to it with no problem. Now, here's another beautiful illustration that Paul put together for you that really kind of illustrates what I've been teaching for many, many years, which are these 8 pillars and these 4 bodies and this one central theme, which is you. Okay, so we're going to park it here for about the next 30 minutes or so, because I want to make sure that you really, really, really understand the breadth of what this is. Okay, this is a whole system, you know, whereby you can actually achieve and be successful. Now, when you look at right under here, I put a couple of statistics, and I share these statistics in my book. When it comes out, you'll be able to see some of the scientific studies that were cited and some of the articles that were cited. But according to the statistics, franchises versus small business. So if I have a small business, 80% of those fail. So in 5 years, 80% of small businesses will not be here. Looks like we got somebody in the waiting room there, Paul. I don't know if you see him. 5 years, 80% of small businesses. So let's say I just started, Knolly's Chicken Shack. Okay, man, we got the best chicken in the planet. Now, I don't eat chicken, but I'm saying if I did, I might have Knolly's Chicken Shack. And I got the best fried chicken, man. Ain't nobody beating my chicken. I got the best chicken in the world. But statistics say that in 5 years, I have an 80% chance of not being around. But if I'm a Chick-fil-A, I have a 90% chance of still being here in 5 years. 90. So think about this for a second. If I'm Joe's Chicken Shack or Knolly's Chicken Cage or Chicken Shack, whatever, I have a 20% chance of being around. But if I'm Chick-fil-A, I have a 90% chance of success. Now, why is that? So I studied this for years, guys. I used to buy a magazine called Small Business Opportunities. It came out probably in the 80s, and I would buy it all the time. And I was probably 12, 13, 14 years old. And I would look through this magazine. I'd be seeing all these different businesses that I could start. I'm like, oh, I like that business. And by the way, this is what kind of got me on the path of understanding that there's a lot of paths. There's a million paths to $1 million. Okay, there's a million ways that you could make $1 million. Ann McCallum, she just wrote a really, really beautiful, nice review of my new book, 3 Hours a Day. She got a pre-advanced copy of it. She read it. She's got a $100 million net worth. She's worth over $100 million. And how did she make her 100 million? Well, probably differently than I'm going to make mine. Okay. Differently than you're going to make yours. So it doesn't really matter how it just, as long as it's your way, it's you. Okay. She made it in the health fitness industry. So, so when you look at this has been sort of my life study, 30 plus years of study, actually 40 years of study in entrepreneurship. And what I noticed was that these 8 pillars were constantly found in the biggest franchises that were successful. They had these 8 pillars in place. Okay. So let's say, for example, you own a McDonald's restaurant. I think they still call them restaurants now. You own a McDonald's. Okay. I grew up with McDonald's, so I'm not going to badmouth them. I was a McDonald's kid, there's the McDonald's. Daddy, can we stop? Mama. So I grew up with it. And the thing is, to be successful, I mean, they're gonna basically, you're buying into a system, right? So they're gonna do everything they can to make sure you're successful. And it starts with mindset. They're gonna make sure that your mind is right, okay, before they even sell you one of those things, right? Then they're gonna tell you, these are the activities that you gotta do every day in order for your location to be successful. You have to do these specific things, and you have to do them this way, not your way. You don't reinvent the wheel. You don't come up with a different way of doing it. You're going to do it this way. Okay. And then you got to hire these kind of people. These are the specific kind of people that you need. And then you're going to use these systems. You're going to use this software. You're going to use this way of doing it. A system is actually a way of doing something. They're going to tell you how to do it. They're going to say, these are the tools that you need. Okay. And you're going to use, this software, this kind of computer, this kind of POS system, this kind of, everything, right? This kind of coffee maker, this kind of ice maker, everything. And then they're going to make sure that your money piece is right. Okay. So that all your financials are in place and that you have all your reporting goes a certain way. This is the money piece. They'll probably handle a lot of that for you. Then they're going to have extreme, what we call accountability. Now, accountability, all that means is the ability to give an account. The ability to give an account, which everyone has. So they're going to give you extreme accountability. And what happens is, if you own a franchise like that and your sales start to dip, you're going to get a phone call from them and say, hey, what's going on? Let's talk about this. Then what's going to happen if sales continue to dip? Somebody's going to be on a plane and they're going to be physically in your location and seeing what the hell's going on, because the numbers are not, there's something going on here. So physically, you're going to have extreme accountability. You're not going to be able to. One of the reasons why many of you are not at the success level that I'll say one of the biggest reasons probably one of the top 3, is because you don't have any accountability. You know, you will actually put out better work for a boss than you will for yourself. If I was to fly into your location and spend a month with you at your you know, place of business, you would actually put out better work than you ever have put out before, or certainly better work than you put out with me not there. Okay, because you're going to be more accountable to someone else than you'll ever be to yourself. Okay, you make a terrible boss. I just got to say that. And by the way, that's accountability and training. They're going to make sure that you have the right training so that you succeed in your business and your franchise location. Okay. So when you look at the most successful businesses, when you talk about franchises, they all have these 8 pillars. Okay. These are the essential 8 pillars that they have. And I just discovered this by research. Okay. And so this is what I teach. I teach that every single business, your business, can actually run like a franchise. Okay. And franchises do have some stigma to them. And I'm not talking about a franchise in the derogatory sense that you might think of it, but in the sense that you might think of a franchise as a business in a box that is a complete system that you really don't have to do much thought. You just have to implement. Okay. And then right in the center of that, getting closer into you, is the fact that we all have 4 bodies. Okay, I've been teaching this a long time, so most of you know my teaching on this, so we don't have to spend a lot of time parked here, but you have a mental body. This is science. This is all science, by the way. Okay, this is all scientifically proven that the Homo sapiens has multiple bodies. Okay, and we also have multiple brains. I don't know if you read the science on that. That's a whole nother discussion. The Homo sapiens has been discovered that we have 3 brains that they've discovered so far. Okay, we probably have a lot more brains than that, but we have 3 brains. We have a brain in our head that most people know about. Okay, then we also, Doc Childers did 40 years of scientific research on the fact that everyone has a brain in the heart. The heart actually, you know, the heart is the first organ to form in the human body. It forms before everything else, and the heart actually has a brain. It has a thinking, a way of a being mechanism around it. And they have machines that can actually, when they take an image of you, okay, there is a beam that radiates out from your heart, and typically it's about 8 feet. Some people have a longer field, some have shorter. Okay, but it's basically you have to have a certain kind of camera to capture it, but everyone has it, and it's basically a sort of a field that goes out from the heart. Okay, and it goes out about 8 feet in most cases. That's the reason why when you get too close to somebody, or somebody gets too close to you, you start to feel their energy, and it becomes very uncomfortable. And you say like, hey, you take a step back. They're too close. When they get like really close, you're like, hey man, back up, bro, or you back up, because now I'm feeling you. I don't really want to feel you that way. And so we actually feel each other. And this is something that's scientifically proven, although my belief around it is that the Homo sapiens race has diminished in our ability to kind of feel that field, but you know, probably at some point it was much more pronounced or whatever. And you can actually work on becoming more intuitive and more feeling that. But we have a brain in our heart. Heart math, if you ever have done studies on heart math, you can find all the research around this, but there's 40 years of research around this. And then the gut has a brain. Most of you guys know that. And the scientists say that the gut, okay, they're usually the small intestine into the large intestine, has a internal brain that thinks, makes decisions, has feelings, and so on. And it's about the same intelligence of a canine, about like a German Shepherd. It has about that level of intelligence, okay? So that's been tracked so far. So there's many, many things about you that you're a very, very, very complex being. I just say that. Okay, so, but we also have 4 bodies. We have 3 brains, we have 4 bodies. Now we may have more than this, but this is what we've discovered so far. So we have a mental body, and that is made up of a subconscious and a conscious mind. There's a slightly duality there. The subconscious mind is responsible for 88% of all the daily activities that happen in your normal life. Okay, whereas the conscious mind is responsible for about 12%, 11 to 12% of their daily activities. So most of what's happening in your life is subconscious, or what we call autonomic in nature. Okay. It's and essentially, like that breath you just took, the blood that's going through your vein, your 80 to 100 trillion cells that actually have to be fed every day. Did you know that every single one of your cells, and you have 80 to 100 trillion of them, every single one of your cells, I'm going to say something that's crazy, but this is science. Every single one of your cells eats and poops. Okay, let me say it again. Every single one of your cells eats, it has a meal, it eats, and it poops, it excrements, okay? All that poop goes into your lymphatic system. The body is made up of 80+%. The fluid in the body is, most people think it's mostly blood, but it's 80% lymph and 20% blood, okay? So 80% of our body fluid is lymphatic fluid. People say we're 70+% water. Well, most of that's lymphatic fluid. Anyway, there's a lot to this. But the point is that the cells, the reason why you see Uncle Knolly drinking crazy stuff like this, orange juice, fresh squeezed with wheat, I think it's got barley grass in there and a bunch of other stuff, is because I'm feeding my cells. Now, I don't always eat from my cells or my body, which most of the time I do. Sometimes I eat from my brain. I just like, man, I want a pizza now. But I know that when I have the pizza, I'm not eating from my cells, because every one of my cells takes in whatever nutrition I give it. And then it's just like basically a cell of a human body is like a city. Okay. When you study just the cell, you'll be parked there for years, because the body, everything that a cell does is like a city of a municipality. It does so many things. Okay. And so every one of those cells is a living thing. It's alive. Okay. And so I try to give it living food. I go from life to life. And so that's very important. So the mental body, again, 88% of the things that happen in your mental body are subconscious. And that's the reason why when you program your subconscious mind with a lot of crap, you end up getting crappy results in your life. Okay. Man, that's hard. That's going to take a lot of time. I can't do that. I've got to do cold calling in order to be successful. See, these are all self-limiting beliefs that they go into your subconscious, which is basically a program. It's a software. And then everything that you do is governed by that software. How many of you know that, according to what you watched that night before on Netflix and what you had during that day and so on, so on, so on, that's going to determine maybe the kind of dream you might have tonight, right? So your dreams are actually coming in from the subconscious mind. But when you program your subconscious mind, like scripture says, whatever is good, whatever is pure, whatever is holy, think on these things, okay? You don't want to watch everything. You don't want to look at everything. You don't want to program, because everything that you look at is programming you. Everything you listen to is programming you. Everything you hear is programming you. And that's the reason why we have to get better teachers. It's very important. And I'm not saying that Uncle Knolly is your one and only teacher. I teach that you want to drink from many fountains. Okay. Everything that I teach you, and I mean everything that I teach you, I learned from somebody else. Okay. I don't have proprietary knowledge. All right. Or I learned it from the field. That's a whole nother discussion, but I tap into the field. There's a field of knowledge that you can actually tap into. It's the quantum field. It's where God lives. Okay. So the mental body, again, this is all science. You can go study if you choose. Is made up of the subconscious and conscious mind, and everything happens from the subconscious to the conscious. Okay, so if you want to have real and lasting change in your business, you have to program your subconscious mind. That's the reason why people use willpower, and it only works for 6 weeks, 90 days. I'm on the 70 hard or whatever whatever it is today. Okay, and that's cool. I like those things. That's good stuff. But the subconscious cannot be bullied into submission. You cannot bully the subconscious. It doesn't work that way. Okay. It has to be wooed like a lover. Like you have to court it. Like, anyway, that's a whole, I could spend days just on that by itself. Let's move on to the emotional body. So the emotional body, scientists have discovered that we have an emotional body. By the way, for the mental body, I have a book for every body. So let me share with you my favorite books for these different bodies. So for the mental body, if you really want to learn this, I recommend this book right here called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Now, there are dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of books that I've read and continue to read, but this is the sort of like the primer, okay, for that. Now, when you get in the emotional body, my favorite book is this one right here, Letting Go, Dr. David Hawkins. This first book I told you about is Dr. Joseph Murphy. These books are all in the portal. So when you go into you join the Knolly Coaching Club, it's now free. You go into the portal, you'll see these books there. So the emotional body is, I mean, this has been scientifically studied for thousands and thousands of years, going back to the ancient Chinese. And then now modern psychologists and so on have studied our emotional body. You are basically an electrical being. Okay, you're an electrical being. All right, so you have a central nervous system. And by the way, the central nervous system runs from the sacrum, like from the tip of it runs up the spine basically. Okay, and if you look at it, it's a channel. And if you look at the way that we're wired, all the cords run, everything is from the spine is wired to a major organ. Okay, that's how we're basically wired. But you're an electrical being. So you have an emotional body. You also have a physical body. Okay, your physical body is made up of 80 to 100 trillion cells, a handful of organs, which are everything in your body is made up of cells. They're massive cells. What is your finger? It's a mass of cells. What's your liver? It's a mass of cells. What is your nose? It's a mass of cells. Okay. And so the physical body is basically a cellular structure. And I like Wayne Dyer's definition of what the physical body is. The physical body, according to Wayne Dyer, is a garage where we temporarily park our soul. That's what the physical body is. Now, the physical body can't necessarily be taken that seriously because it's just a temporary vehicle for the spirit body, which is the eternal part of us. But we have to take care of it because where else are we going to live? you got another body on hand? Science hasn't gotten that far yet. One day it might. Okay. But until you get you another body, a spare body, you got to take care of the one you have. And that's very important. Okay. If you don't take care, Josie has a guy she follows. He says, if you don't take care of your wellness, you will take care of your illness. If you don't take care of your wellness, you will take care of your illness. So it's one or the other. You're either going to live it up now and suffer later, or you're going to enjoy it. Or if you don't take time for your wellness, you will take time for your illness. Yeah. So, and then we have the spiritual body. Okay. And we kind of know, most of us kind of know, what that is. And are we still learning what it is? Probably best way to say it. So the reason why I want to bring this up is that at the center of it all is you. Okay. And that's like, who are you? Who are you? Who am I? Who am I? You're a human being. What is that? What is the being that you are? And then after you understand who you be, which is very important, understand who you be, then you understand who or who you are. What am I here to do? Like, what's my mission here? What's my purpose? Okay. And this is sort of the central theme of all of this stuff that around it. And basically what happens is your business sits on these 8 pillars, but when you don't take care of all this, see, this is holistic. It's a glue. You can't take one from the other. Oh, that's business over there. And over here, I'm going to be taking care of that. No. You are a holistic being, holistic. Okay. And so it's very important to understand that. So, this is the next step for you. If you haven't been a person that, has looked at all 8 of these areas and these 4 bodies and your central theme, which is your superpower. That's what I want you to really, really focus on doing over the next upcoming weeks. By the way, the purpose of this boot camp, let me just say this, and I know each of you have a different intention, and that's okay. But my purpose and my intention is that you will understand the overarching structure from which to run a divine business, okay? A divine, elevated business, all right? And be able to operate that within 3 hours a day. I'm teaching you the structure of how to do this, okay? And so, but this is going to be a journey for you. This is not going to be something that, I mean, obviously, you don't pop out at the end of, on day 4, like, I'm working 3 hours now. No. But here's the cool thing about it. I think it was Jessica yesterday. She says, this is going to take a long time. And I'm not saying that it won't take a long time. I'm just saying not to use that kind of language. Okay, because the Spirit may not want a long time for you. Spirit might want you to have this tomorrow or next week. I'm not going to tell you when this is going to be for you, but I will tell you this, that most entrepreneurs will never achieve this in their lifetime. Okay, what I'm teaching you in this 4 days, most entrepreneurs will never achieve in their lifetime. Okay, 30, 40, 50 years. And most of them will be on their deathbed, just like every other person on their deathbed, with the number 2 regret being what? I wish I hadn't worked so hard. The most common number 2 regret of anyone on their deathbed, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. What's the number 1 regret? I wish I'd had the courage to live a life that was true to myself, not the life that others wanted for me. Okay. In other words, I wish I had known who I am and been me. I wish I would have done me. Number 1 regret of the dying. Those in their 90s that are in their last 12 weeks of life, that's their number 1 regret. And so you won't have such a regret when you live the life that I'm teaching. There's no way you're gonna exit this realm with 0 regrets. And I got to tell you that most entrepreneurs will never, ever achieve what you can get to in their lifetime. And why not? Okay, think about it. Why won't they ever achieve 3 hours a day or working as little as they want from wherever they want, doing what it is they want, completely debt free? Why won't they achieve that? Put in the chat. Let me hear what you think. Let me give you a hint. Living someone else's dream, that's one. Fear and overthinking. Scared of failure. Vicky says scared of failure. Tanika says because we are taught to work forever. That's it, Tanika. You hit it. And Jessica hit it on the head yesterday. She says, nobody's ever taught me this before. See, fear of willing to take the risk. See, most people, and all those are true, but the reality is most people don't know what I'm teaching you guys. They just don't know. Jessica was so honest yesterday when she says, I've never heard anybody teach, like I've never been told these things before. Nobody's ever told me this. See, scripture says my people perish for what? For lack of money, for lack of income, for lack of access to, well, we got lots of riches in this country. For what? Oh, yeah, there we go. Lack of knowledge. They don't know. Okay. They're ignorant. And most people do not know what I'm teaching you. That's why they will die. They'll be in the hustle and grind for 40, 50 years. Okay. Now I'm not telling you that you don't have to, you have to hustle and grind. Okay. Raise your hand if you ever hustle and grind. Knolly taught me not to hustle and grind. I don't teach that. You got to get your hustle on. You got to earn this. But the hustle and grind is the hustle and grind is a season. Write that down. The hustle and grind is a season. It's not an eternity, guys. It's not a lifetime. It's like, think about building a house. Somebody had to build this house that Josie and I are enjoying. Beautiful house. Somebody had to build it. And it probably took them a while to build. It might have taken them a year. Do you think they were hustling and grinding to build this house? I would imagine. Somebody's got to carry up those bags of sand and cement and rock and stone and lay these tile and do all that stuff. But now that the house is built, okay, now that your business is built, you should be able to live in that thing and enjoy it. Yeah, you're going to have a broken toilet every now and then. You got to get your grind on. Every now and then, you're going to have to get your grind on again. I got to tell you that. But it's not a life sentence for you, okay? It's just something that you say, you know what? I got to write this new book. You know, McGraw-Hill wants this book, and they want it in 6 weeks. I'm about to get my grind on, but I'm gonna grind for 6 weeks. And I know that there's an end in sight. See, most entrepreneurs don't see any end in sight because they don't know that one exists. This is the distinction. This is the gift that you guys have, is that now you know there's a different way that you can operate your business. Okay. And by the way, Uncle Knolly's not at, I mean, there's different levels of the game. There's always a higher level. Okay. This is not a contest. All right, get that out of your head. This is not a contest, guys. I mean, one of my dear friends just bought a yacht. He paid $8 million for it. Him and his wife. Is it almost here? They got an update or what? It'll be here tomorrow at noon. $8 million for a boat. Okay. It's got 4,000 square feet of heated and cooled space. And we're going out. Are we going to go out? Oh, crap. Because we're leaving town. We may not. It'll be here tomorrow at noon. So we'll go see it. Hopefully, we were invited for the maiden voyage. But the point being, I can't go buy an $8 million yacht. Not that I would want one. And I might just be saying I don't want one because I don't have $8 million. I don't know, you know, but if you know what I'm saying? So there's different levels of the game. Another buddy of mine, one of my business partners, just bought a jet. These guys are living in, see, you know, this low way of living that so many people have gotten accustomed to as entrepreneurs is not the way for you. Okay. You can have whatever you choose. And if you don't choose that, that's fine. It doesn't matter. You may not choose to live like me, and that's okay. You do you. Okay. So let's move on. I think you guys understand. And so the overarching theme of this whole thing, okay, and my overarching vision is that you'll have a framework, a template that you'll be able to use for the rest of your life to get to this 3 hours a day. And it might take you 9 months. It might take you a year, 2 years, or 3 years. It won't take you longer than that. Okay. But most people won't get there in 30 or 40 years, whereas it might take you a year or two. All right. When I joined EXP, I actually got to where I'm describing now. I got there in, I think it took me 3 years, 2.5 years, something like that, to where I was actually making enough recurring revenue to cover, you know, everything, to where I'm like totally good, you know. And so the point is, it doesn't matter what you're doing, or even what kind of business you're in. Okay. And I don't want you to go changing your business, but I'm just saying it doesn't matter. By the way, if you look at the way these page numbers are changing here at the bottom, you'll see that this is a continuation of the workbook. Okay. So this is actually meant to be one workbook. So when you get these pages, if you happen to print them out, you add them to the other pages, and the page numbers continue. Okay. So don't get confused like, hey, I'm missing pages. It says 22 here. All right. So this goes into the 8 business pillars, goes into more of a description of each of the pillars. I don't necessarily know that we have to cover this. I'll just kind of skim through these because you could sort of do this on your own. And then I'll take any questions that you guys have around these 8 pillars. So mindset, again, that's the number one pillar. I believe that 90% of your success is going to be your mindset. Your mindset, we're talking not just the way you think, but the mind. This is going a little deeper than what you might even want to know, but you have a brain and you also have a mind. Okay. So the brain, and I'm going to share with you how I kind of understand it in my head, just so it won't be as weird. So in my head, my understanding, so basically you have a subconscious mind, you have a conscious mind, that's in the brain, but you also have a mind, and the mind is actually, as far as we can understand, a field that actually resonates outside the body. Okay, that's called the mind. You might call it a mind field. Okay, call it that. So your mind is really not your brain. So you know how you have a router, and then you have the internet. Okay, so you actually have the internet which is what's the internet? Like, where is the internet? Can anybody tell me where the internet is? It's all over the place, right? It's in servers and routers and all these information devices that are, who knows, in Malaysia or where, I don't know. I don't know where this stuff is stored, but it's definitely not stored in your computer. So for example, right now you're looking at something that I pulled off of my Google Drive. I don't know where this physical bit of data is stored. I just can't tell you where it's at, because I just know that I can access it. And in the same way, the way God has actually created the universe is there's actually a body of knowledge, a table of knowledge. And I think it's just God himself, but there's a table of knowledge. Different people have different terms for it, and that you can actually tap into. And so just like my computer, even though I have access to all the information that I need when I'm teaching this class, that information does not reside on my computer, which would be considered my brain. Okay. So I look at my laptop as my brain. All right. But everything that I'm pulling up, like even the fact that we're on Zoom, I don't actually have Zoom loaded on my computer. Okay. I don't know how it works, but it's all cloud-based. I'm pulling this information that you're looking at from the cloud. Okay. And in the same way, there is a field of knowledge and information that resides outside of your brain. Okay. And that's the reason why you will actually get a download. That's what I call it, of information. Sometimes when you're open, most people stay in a closed position, so they never receive, but you'll actually get a download of information from what I say, the Holy Spirit. That's the end and the beginning. If you look at like some of the biggest scientific discoveries that were ever invented by inventors, they'll tell you, you say, how'd you get that idea? It just came to me. I mean, like from beginning to end, I couldn't stop. I just wrote the whole thing out. Boom, it just came. Okay. It was basically a gift. And a lot of information can be received from us that way, but most people are so stuck. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. They're solving $500 problems. You're so stuck trying to figure out this tiny problem in your business that you're not open enough to receive these big packets of information. And so you don't receive them. They go right by you. Okay. Now that's mindset. Activities. We're talking about activities are the specific things that you should be doing that will actually move the needle. And what do I mean move the needle? What does that even mean? Okay. So there's only a couple of things that I deem even important. And those things are things that will create income. Okay. I'm talking about income creation. Write that down. Income creation. Now, what is income creation? Income creation is creating immediate money. Okay. We call it now money. Somebody's like, man, Knolly, all this stuff is good, man, but I need to pay my mortgage today. How can I make money now? I need now money. Okay. You might be in that category right now. All right. What we're doing here is we're really slowing it down. We're peeling back the onion and we're seeing what really makes this thing tick. Like what makes the success engine really go. Okay. So now money is what we call cash flow in the business world. We call that cash flow. You might have a need for immediate cash flow. And then there's another thing, what we call wealth, which is basically, you're basically stacking on the street. That's what we call it. They say, hey man, how you doing? Oh, I'm stacking. That's how we used to say. What that means is I'm good. I got enough money, but right now I'm stacking. Like I'm just stacking. I'm stacking my chips, And so we do that in business. We do both. So in business, we actually create wealth, what we call future wealth, and we create immediate income. Okay. And so what you'll notice, if you look at most of the activities that you do during the day, most of those don't do either. They don't create immediate cash and they don't create future wealth. Okay. And to me, those are the only two things that matter in your business. All right. In other words, those are only two things that you even should be doing. And the reality is I would submit to you, and I would challenge any of you to show me what you do every day. And I would challenge you that probably, unless you're lead generating, anything else that you're doing in most cases, actually, there's only two things that you could do in your business. And I'm going to just share this with you that you could actually do that, in my view, would register and check the boxes that I just described. You have to either be doing lead generation, okay, or an appointment, physically at an appointment. Okay. If you're servicing, like if you're in the real estate business, for example, most of you are, and you're servicing any of the business that you currently have, you're not doing anything that's dollar productive in my book. You're not doing anything that's income creation or wealth creation, period. If you still go to your closings, that doesn't check the box. If you still, call and check up on your clients. Now, if you're doing lead generation, that's a different story. Okay. But if you're doing the, contract to close, that doesn't check the box. If you're doing, you're checking email from agents that want to know about the property and get details on it, that doesn't check the box. See, the reality is once you took the listing, you're done. Okay. And so the reality is most of you, I would submit that 10% of the things that you're doing are actually things, and probably not even that much, that would actually check the box. I was talking to one of my one-on-one clients yesterday, and they're working however many hours, 40 hours, 30 hours a week, whatever they work. And we've been one-on-one coaching for a couple months, and they did 0 lead generation this week. Okay. And I'm like, what are you doing with your time? Okay. And we're going to work on that. We'll work on that together. I'll help you guys with that. Yeah. So now the only other thing that I would say could even check the box remotely would be if you're negotiating an offer. Then you could argue with me that, hey, Knolly, I'm negotiating this, but I would submit to you that that's not even like once I took a listing, I would generate the lead. I would meet with the client, take the listing. I was done. And I would explain to them. And they on no uncertain terms did they ever want to see me again after that point. We could go out for a beer or just hang out, or I could go just hang out with them, if I'm just chilling and relaxing and not doing, during my off time, no problem. I'd love doing that. But most of you are just busy, but you're not actually generating business. You're not doing the things that actually move the needle. And so activities is very important. What are you actually doing every day? People, okay. When most people hire a person, I'm going to hire somebody just like me. That's the wrong move. Now we got 2 people not getting anything done. Okay. We just went from one person not doing what they're supposed to do to 2 people doing it, because now you got somebody just like you. The only time you hire somebody just like you is when you're retiring from the business. That's the only time you ever do that. Any other time you hire the opposite of you. But you have to have people, not just people that you hire, but other talented people like title companies and lenders and great attorneys and so on. You have to have a plethora of people in your life that will help round out, your business. Systems are so important. That's how you actually do something, is what is your system? And I would submit to you that most of you don't have well-oiled machines. The way you have a good system, you only tell you how you know, is if you can pick up and leave for 3 days and everything's good, like you're cool, like nothing there. Literally, this will never happen. I'm not speaking this to existence. I'm just giving, if I was to go into a coma for a year, I'm good. Like my family's taken care of. I got money coming in. I don't have to work. Okay. And so this is the reality of where I'm at. Okay. And where I'm taking you guys. But I have a system in place so that if that were to happen, everything would just run without me. They'd be like, and even in Austin, it's kind of funny because when I lived in Austin, Texas, the agents, it was a long-standing joke. It was like, oh, you do exist. Because they would see my picture everywhere. I was marketing everything, but nobody would actually see me. It's like, man, is this guy for real? Like, is this a real person? I was just like a mascot, So tools, let's talk about tools for a minute. Tools are, how you get things done. And by the way, when you look at people, systems, and tools, PST, we call that leverage. Write that down. We call that leverage. People is who will do it. Okay. Systems is how will they do it. And tools is what will they do it with. So tools, you got to give your people the right tools. And tools can be so many things, from your vehicle to the kind of paper you use, your computer, your software systems, everything that, these are all tools that you use. Like right now I'm using a microphone, I'm using Zoom, I've got a really nice camera here. I've got some lighting on me. Okay. I've got tools all around me. Okay. I've got a timer right here to keep me on time, even though I don't have my phone. I don't even, I didn't bring my phone down here. So I got to look and see what time it is. Hold on one second. Oh yeah, we're at the top of the hour. So it's almost time for a break, but I'll get through the rest of this and then I'll let you guys have a break. Hydro break. Yeah. Cause I've been going, you guys see me going. I haven't even taken a drink. Okay. So money, so that's tools, money. We talked about this yesterday. Who taught you what you currently know about money? It's time to get new teachers, better teachers, because whoever taught you is probably not or doesn't have the kind of money that you're looking for. And so most of you have started to get better teachers in that field. All right. One of my favorite teachers in money is a guy named, they call him Uncle Eric. Just look up Uncle Eric. And he's an economics professor he writes books for the common ordinary person. Okay. The ordinary yokel like me. And I can understand his writing. And one of the books that I like best from him is called Whatever Happened to Penny Candy. Whatever Happened to Penny Candy. Okay. And he has many other financial books, most of which I have. And he teaches you about economics and finance so that you can understand the basics of it. Okay. His last name is Maybury, but he goes by Uncle Eric. By the way, let me see, systems, people. We talked about, hold on one second. These. Yeah. Okay. So let's keep going. Accountability. We talked about that already, the ability to give an account. And you can see successful athletes, celebrities. I mean, Donald Trump has a coach. Oprah Winfrey has a coach. Barack Obama has a coach. Tiger Woods has a coach. Anybody that's famous and making millions of dollars has a coach. Okay. I have a coach. All right. I have multiple coaches now. So this whole idea, by the way, when I was 8 months in the business, I hired a coach, 8 months in the business. And my coach is the one that was responsible for helping me get to 100 deals a year within 2 years. Otherwise, I'd be doing 20 deals a year, just like that was my goal. And so you have to have a coach in your life. You have to have one. It's not optional. All right. How come I'm not succeeding? Do you have a coach? No. Okay. Well, all right. So coaching is super. You got to have an accountability in your life, and you should have a coach. If you want to succeed, you should have one. Training is also another thing. So coaching is one thing and training is different. Okay. So that's, podcasts, books, seminars, events. You should be going to all the major events. If you're at EXP, you should be going to all the big events. Whatever company you're with, go to the big events, because big events is where big things happen. Okay. Well, I don't like going to big events. That's a waste of time. I could be working in my business. Yeah. Well, I understand, but you should never stop learning. And if you choose to get it some other way, maybe the big events exhaust you. That's not your thing. That's fine. Get it some other way, but make sure that you're always learning. Be a lifelong learner. I'm preaching to the crowd because you guys are here. So I don't even have to cover training. You guys are, you spending 8 hours with Uncle Knolly, you don't have any problem with training. So that speaks for itself. And then we talked about the 4 bodies. Okay. We already covered these 4 different bodies. So with that, I'm going to get into delegate, and we're going to park. So with the 8, let me just put a bow on this. So with the 8 pillars and the 4 bodies, I just want you to understand that your business sits atop that. Okay. And as you're rebuilding your business, because some of you, when you looked yesterday at it, when you evaluated your business, you're like, man, I got problems. Okay. All right. Well, let's reimagine your business. You're starting your business from scratch today. What would it look like? Let's reimagine it. Let's reinvent it. And you're going to reinvent it on top of these 8 pillars. Super duper critical and important for you to understand that. Are there any questions that you have before let's go on break. Let's do this. Let's go on break. And then we'll come back and we'll have Q&A and we'll get right into delegate. All right. See you in 5. Oh yeah, 5 minutes. All right, we're back and we're back. Okay. That break wasn't long enough. All right. Oh, I love the Eagles. They have so many beautiful songs. I've been listening to them for years. Actually, when I was doing rap music, I had several of my raps that were based on Eagles songs back then. So that's kind of crazy. But all right, any questions? Let me open up for any questions, comments, thoughts before we move on. Any questions, comments, or thoughts? What's up, Jason? I see you.
What's up, Knolly? How you doing?
Good, my man. How you doing, bro?
Pretty
Yeah.
good. Did you say that
Look-
you used to rap?
Yeah. I used to be a rapper. Come
Oh,
on, man. You
really?
know that, bro. What's up? You don't know that about me? I'll play
can't
one of
hear
my
you.
raps. Oh, you can't hear me? Hold on.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Yeah, can you hear me now? You can hear
I
me?
can, yeah.
Yeah, I used to rap. I used to be a rapper. I started rapping when I was 13, and I actually was rapping till I had a rap label. I did all that stuff till I was about 33.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. It's a small world.
And
We
you
did
did some Eagle
Christian rap.
songs too. That's cool.
Oh yeah, man. Eagles. You can't name a song that I don't know about the Eagles, bro. I was listening to the Eagles when I was probably 16, 17, and I know every riff in every song. So like, yeah, anyway, I like the Eagles.
Yeah.
All right. So Buffalo, Springfield, we might do a little some of that. Y'all don't know about that. We might do it. We're going to have a diverse. Actually, what I'm doing is I'm going to create a playlist from the boot camp. All right. So that's crazy, right, Barbara? Like we're going to do a boot camp playlist, March 2023 boot camp playlist. It's going to be fun. So all the songs that we got here, we're gonna do a playlist. All right. So any question? Oh, I said the break was too long. All right. That's cool. That's good to know. Do I see any questions? I don't see any here.
I do, Knolly.
Oh, somebody was asking, did we start before 10? No, we didn't. We didn't start before 10. We actually started after 10. I see. That's Jill. Yeah. I see you.
Oh.
So Jill.
They had me go. I was parallel.
It's raining. I ain't gonna play this match.
Hold on. We got somebody. You see that,
They had me
Paul?
go. Yeah, I mean that I didn't
Paul,
decide that route.
go ahead
That's
and
what
mute
they
that
told me
person.
to do.
What's your address?
5014.
You know how to do it, Paul?
Oh.
You got it? All right. Silence them. You have been silenced. All right. They're still talking, Paul. I think it's Reverend Sandra. Go ahead and mute her.
Sorry.
Oh, are you trying to unmute yourself, Reverend Sandra? We hear you.
No, I apologize. I was moving around with the phone in my hand. I apologize.
No
Well,
worries.
good morning.
No worries. No
Thank
worries.
you.
Good morning.
I'm in Los Angeles traffic from Long Beach, and your topic has been amazing. It's given me more seeds to plant and to really water. So thank you.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah. Jill, I saw you had your hand raised. Yeah, go ahead. You can unmute yourself. You're muted. You got to go to the lower. There you go.
Okay, sorry, I'm not very good at this. So I was the one that asked about 10 o'clock. So for some reason, I guess I read everything wrong, and I thought it started at 10, and I thought it started today. So anyways, instead of getting so
it starts at 10
disappointed-
Eastern, 10 o'clock Eastern.
And
Where are you at?
I messed up. I'm in Texas.
Okay. Yeah, you're on Central. So it started. So you
9
came
o'clock.
in. Yeah. At 9 your time. Yeah. But that's okay. I mean, we have all this stuff recorded. Yesterday was fire, and today's been pretty good. And we haven't got to the fire yet, but we're getting there.
Okay, so I guess my question would be is there a way I can watch it other than on Facebook? Can I do, are they recorded?
Yeah, they're recorded but they're in the Facebook group though. So you could you don't have Facebook?
Well, on it, I'm kind of old fashioned. And so I don't, I'll figure it out. But yes,
Okay.
I don't use Facebook, but I have whatever you call an account. Anyways, I'm probably one of the only ones that don't do Facebook, but I'm just a
What
chicken
business are
farmer.
you in, Jill? You have
Yeah.
such a pretty face. We
Oh,
got to
you're
get you on.
sweet. Yeah. You know, honestly, I get a lot of heat from that.
Crazies, a lot of crazy people, a lot of crazy
Oh,
guys.
no. But everybody says, Jill, you need to be on Facebook, and I sell chickens. And I'm like, you know what?
By the
I'd
way,
rather
you don't have to do it. You know who Paul runs my Facebook. Now he's not available, but I'm not on Facebook very much either. My wife asked me a week ago, yeah, did you see that on Facebook? I said, like, I haven't been on Facebook all week. Now I'm there every day posting and doing stuff like that, but it's not me. It's Paul, you know, on my team that does all that posting and stuff. Now I do go on Facebook and answer questions and stuff. So now that we have the boot camp going on, I'm jumping in to the boot camp and answering questions there. But I know what you mean. It could be a time suck, you know.
Yeah.
What we are doing, just so you know, is we are going to go ahead and upload these secretly to YouTube, but they're going to be unlisted. Okay. So there will be a way to watch these without having to log into Facebook, you know, just so you know, but you won't be able to access it through YouTube. You'll have to have the private link. So I'll be sharing that with you guys. So you'll have it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
What's up, Jessica? You back for more trouble? You're welcome, Jill. Jessica, what's up? Uh-oh, she went away. Where'd she go? Oh, we scared her off.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, there she is. Okay, okay.
Yes, I'm back for more. So my question, I wrote it down even so I wouldn't forget. Okay. So I know you said we want to figure out our zone of genius and then work in that zone. But what about trying something, because I'm, still figuring out what that is. What about trying something that I don't think I'll like, but over time learn to love it? Like, I know cold calls is an example, but I was calling for agent attraction, and at first I was terrified. And now it's like no big deal. In fact, I remember the day one of the girls thanked me and said, "Oh man, thank you so much. You're doing me a huge favor by reaching out." And I was like, "I'm doing you a favor?" And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing you a favor." And then it was like a whole
Sure.
mindset shift. And so anyway, but I hated it. Like the first 3-4 weeks, I would be like, "Okay, 20 minutes a day, Jessica, you can do 20 minutes. It's only 20 minutes." And I would like watch the clock. So anyway, what advice would you give for because I don't know my zone of genius yet. I think I know what I like, but there's also things that maybe I'm good at that I'm just scared because I haven't done it before. So how long is too long? Because I don't want to waste time either, doing something I hate forever. So
yeah, no, I understand. So my recommendation is that you go through the Discovering Your Divine Destiny, because now that's a beast. Okay. It's not going to be fun. There's basically Discovering Your Divine Destiny is 121 questions that are specifically designed to dig and get to who you are. So it's absolutely zero fun to do that. Okay. But it's actually going to take less time to do that than spend years trial and error. Does that make sense? Because you actually can get to it within a week or two if you go through that course. All right. So that's what I highly, highly, highly recommend for you, since you really haven't spent a lot of time in your life figuring out, who you are. But I think also that you're going around the thinking of it all wrong. So it doesn't mean like your personality profile, there is no personality profile for agent attraction. Okay. So it's not like, oh, I don't like to do agent attraction, or I like doing agent attraction. That's not how it works. Anyone can do agent attraction, but what is the way that you attract? Okay, that's the critical key. So every personality profile can do agent attraction, but the way you show up as an agent attractor might be different than how I do it. Does that make sense? So you're thinking about it differently than it's not that one personality profile will like something more than another. It's that they will actually take that on differently than another person would. Does that make sense?
It does. And, I probably just wasn't clear in my explanation. It's just because I haven't called for sale by owners or expired. Agent attraction is the only calls I made, but I meant the calls was what I was trying to focus on. The fact that the first times that I cold called for weeks, it was like terrifying. But then
Yeah.
actually I was like, you know what? This isn't so bad after a while. And I could see myself doing it long term. But if I had just thought about, well, what do I like? I probably would have never cold called.
So I've attracted 160 people to my front line here at EXP, over 160 at this point. I've never cold called somebody for that. Okay. So what you're doing is you're now cold calling is very, 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 very productive for that. Okay. My wife would be great at it if she would just do it. She'd be really good at it, but that's just not me. So I'm more indirect. Okay. So I attract more than I actually have been lately doing what I do is more video reach out. So we teach that you reach out. We don't teach that you call. You could call. So you're assuming that lead generation is calling, and that's an assumption. Okay. And what I'm here to tell you is that, like, when I did expireds, I never called anyone, yet I listed 50 to 60 expireds every single year. Okay. I sent letters, I sent postcards, and everybody was calling me. All right. So, and by the way, most of the people that joined me here at EXP called me. I didn't call them. So because I don't do the calls, I do more of the YouTube videos. I do a lot of education. I do a lot of training. And then people like, man, they call me up like, hey, can I meet with you? And I get those calls all the time. Like, hey, we want to join EXP. We want to see if we could name you as our sponsor. So there's different ways of doing it. And I do understand what you're saying is that, should you try something, but I don't recommend the trial and error approach for business. Okay. I recommend that you find out who you are. Okay. Once you know who you are, do you know your disc?
Yes. It's DI or ID.
Okay. So then you like doing cold calls. So that's not even a question. There's no need to even, like a DI can do cold call. Now, it's not that you're going to like doing it, but you can do it and you can be good at it. Okay. And eventually you'll actually get kind of playful with it. It'll actually be a fun thing for you. Okay. So now if you were not a DI, if you were a SC, I would say you're never going to like cold calls ever. Like you'll never like them. Okay. Like you could actually know, if you actually know what your profile is, you actually will know what it is you like to do and what you don't, but you have to study these things. Okay. And what you're talking about, if you kind of think that you might like it, then yeah, go ahead and try it out. See how it goes. All right. But I don't recommend that. What I recommend is that you understand who you are first. And then from there, you say, hey, since I'm this kind of person, probably I would like to do it this way. Okay. Now, most successful entrepreneurs and presidents and business leaders are DIs or IDs. I don't happen to be one, but you have a greater propensity for success if you have that profile already built in. But you also, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be successful. Does that make sense?
It does. So is the coach the piece that comes in to let me know the list of things? Because like you said, everyone says cold call, and maybe that works for me, but there's probably a list of things too that I'm not even thinking of to try. And I guess we're not going over stuff like that, right? Like lead gen for D's and I's or lead gen for S and C's.
I think we might have talked about this book right here.
Yesterday?
Triple My Listings.
The triple. Okay.
Yeah. This is 27 marketing ideas for free seller leads. Okay. So you don't have to really reinvent the wheel. This is every idea that I know of to generate seller leads. Now, this is in the listing game. Okay. If you're in a different game, then no, right? But this is a memory job. And so what happens is when you go through here, you'll look at one, you'll say, no, I don't like that one, because it doesn't really attract. It's not part of your profile. Now, once I know a person's profile, I can just tell you which ones you're going to hate. I already know, because I've been studying profiles for years and years and years and years. I can tell you exactly who you are. I mean, we used to do this all the time. You'll find a lot of these videos out on YouTube where I just ask you your profile, and I just spend 10, 15 minutes telling you about yourself, you know?
So that's where the coach comes in.
Yeah.
That's like what you're coaching you do. Okay. Okay,
You know,
well,
there's a lot of this stuff that you could do on your own, Jessica, without a coach. And I would say a coach is essential, but a lot of the success that you're going to get to, each of you, is going to happen through your own self-discovery.
okay, that sounds good. Last quick
Yeah.
question, if for a newer agent who, we can't bankroll a ton of letters and postcards for farms and everything else, how much would you recommend spending on marketing budget for newer agents?
I would say make your budget about $10 a month. Okay. And if you've been in the business 40 years, $10 a month or 20 or 30. I don't spend more than that. I mean, I have training. I have so much training on, and I don't know, you might not have been in our call last week, but all my farming is free. All my students know. If I have a 5,000 neighborhood farm, I'm not paying for that. Okay. If I have a 1,000 house farm, I'm not paying for farming. If I
Wow.
and I taught this last week, so I'll share the training.
Okay.
What class? I'm trying to think of because I did 4 trainings last week. It might have been in one of the state groups that I taught this, but that's a whole nother training. It's outside the scope of this. But none of the tactics that I teach cost any money. They're all low to no cost. And if you do spend money, all the money you need exists in the pockets of your sponsors. Okay. So let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Let's say I have a 1,000 home farm. Okay. 1,000 home farm. And I use every door direct mail, EDDM. It costs me 20 cents a house. How much is that? 20 cents a house times 1,000, $200, right?
Mhm.
Now, on the back of my postcard, I'm doing an 8.5 by 11, maybe I'm using every door direct mail. And I go to GotPrint, GOTPRINT.com, GotPrint.com. And it's going to be about $25 to print the postcards. So I'm in how much? $225. Now on the back of my postcard, okay, this is the back. I've got 4 trades. I've got a handyman, I've got a painter, I've got a house cleaner, and I've got a lawn service. Okay. And I say, hey, I'm going to these 1,000 homes. All these homes are priced 600 and above. And you can piggyback on the back of my mailing for $75. $75. Yeah. If you get one paint job, you'll probably make how much? Probably 3,000 or 4,000. So it's $75 to go to these 1,000 houses, just like I'm going. Do you want to piggyback on it? And they'll be like, yeah. Okay. And typically what I do is I go to 3 people in the same category. So 3 painters, 3 this, 3. And I get 4 trades. They pay $75 each. That's $300 that I raised. And the postcard campaign cost me $225. Okay. Everything else. And there's a lot of stuff like that I teach, but you should not be spending any money on marketing. The only time you want to spend money on marketing is when you are already, okay, of your own money. Okay. I'm not saying you're not spending money, but of your money is when you're already like what I teach can already get you to 50, 60 deals a year. Now, once you say, well, I want to do a 200, 100, I want to do 100 plus. Okay, well, then let's introduce some of these other tactics that start costing. But then you've got all the money you need to pay for it. And then there's other strategies that I implement so that I don't have to pay for that either. So that's all stuff I teach, So if you're still talking about spending money to pay for stuff, I mean, I was doing 150 deals a year. I didn't spend any money out of my pocket.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Was there one other question? I know you guys are ready to get back to the material. Who did somebody learn something during the Q&A time? You guys learned a few things? Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. I told you Jessica's a troublemaker. We're just playing with you, Jessica. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get into this next piece. And trust me, you're not going to learn. I mean, okay, I'm going to teach you how to delegate your business, but this is not something you're going to have to do today or tomorrow or the next day or the next week. Okay. This is a process that I'm going to teach you that when you're ready, when you're ready, you're going to implement. Okay. You're not going to have to implement this now. Some of you guys are going to be ready to do this today, like now, but others of you are not going to be ready to start hiring people right now. Okay. So let's take a look and let's go, and we might, I'm warning you now, because I see where the time is. And we could actually finish up this tomorrow if we don't do it all today, but we might go over by about 10 minutes. Okay. Are you guys good with that? 10 minutes over? Okay, cool. And some of you guys, I know you have to jump off. I'm trying to see if I have something scheduled right at the end of this. And I do not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go about 10 minutes out from the time. And because I really want to, I'm not going to cut any corners. I want to be very thorough. But I don't think it's going to take much more than about 40 minutes to go through this piece. So delegate your business. Okay. So decide what you will do and what you will delegate. That's very, very, very important. Make a list of everything. Now, here's how you do this. This is a system for how to delegate. First thing you want to do is make a list of everything you do. Remember when I told you that probably most of the things that you're doing right now are probably not moving the needle, like we talked about. They're not really income producing activities, which I consider either immediate cash flow or future wealth. Okay. So for example, Jessica talked about it, agent attraction. Okay. I'm okay with you doing agent attraction. Why? Because you're building future wealth. Okay. You're not necessarily building immediate cash flow, because that's not what agent attraction is. It's future wealth. Right. And so make a list of everything that you do right now, and rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, 1 to 5. 1, I hate it. 2, I don't like it. 3, I like it. 4, I really like it. And 5, I love it. Okay. And I borrowed this system from Amazon. I didn't invent this. Okay. So that's the rating system. How do you rate? How do you, uh-oh, she's talking to me. Nothing. I actually I need to change her name. You know how you have Alexa? I got one of those too, but I have this one's named Amazon. So every time I say her name, she starts talking to me. What can I help you with? All right. Just be quiet right now. So this is what I want you to do. This is going to be your exercise that you're going to do at home. And I want you to do this not just here, but for the next 2 or 3 days. I want you to write down every single thing that you do. Because sometimes when I'm coaching you, you'll be like, yeah, I was so busy. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, busy what? Like, what are you busy doing? And you're like, I don't know, but I know I was busy. So I want you to write down everything that you do, and taking it to the next level, not just in your business, but everything you do. Like I woke up this morning, I got out of bed, I went and brushed my teeth. I did the morning routine. Okay. Made coffee, everything you do, I want you to write that down. Okay. I want you to write it down, every single thing you do. And this is something that you're going to do over the next several days. And this is really going to be homework, because what you're going to do is you're going to put red light, green light. Okay. The question is, who will do it? Will it be you or someone else? What can only you do? And we're going to pretend. When we do this, we're going to be into some pretend time, because what we're really doing is we're going extreme with it. So if Uncle Knolly was to say, hey, I got you a private butler, and I got you a little staff. You got 2 people, and they'll do anything that you need done around your house, around your property, around your business, whatever. Okay, I'm going to have 2 people that work at your house, and then I'm going to have 2 people in your business. What will you have those people do? Okay. And so it's really just an exercise. It's because the whole point of it is, what is it that you actually have to do? And what I think you'll find, what I found, and, when I coach my students one-on-one, I find that most of them don't even understand the limitations of what little they actually have to do. They really don't fully understand how little, if they could hire somebody to do it. Like, for example, when I hired Paul, how long you been working for me, Paul? I don't even know. Unmute yourself and throw it in the chat, whichever you feel more comfortable.
4 years.
4 years. Okay. Was it 4 years ago or 5? It's been going on 5. It's going on 4?
Going 5.
Going on 5. Okay. Going on 5 years. So when I hired Paul, I was doing all of the graphic design and video for why I was doing it. Please don't ask me, but I'm actually trained as a graphic designer. I go way back doing graphic design, and I'm pretty good at video editing, if I do say so myself. Okay. And so I was like, okay, I need somebody to do this because this is so time consuming. And so I actually put it out there, and I called a buddy of mine who owns a company called My Outdesk. And he said, okay, let me see who I can find. So he put it out there, and there was 4 different people that submitted. I gave him a clip to edit, and I said, whoever can do the best job editing this clip will get the job. You know, that was like my criteria. So he interviewed 4 people, and he sent me the clips of what they edited, and they were good. I mean, it was pretty good. That one's pretty good. Oh, I like that one. But Paul's was not just good. It was like, everybody was like, okay, say if it's on a scale of 1, let's just go from 1 to 100. Let's go crazy with it. So this guy was like a, you know, pretty good, like a 30. This one was a 20. This one was like a 40. And Paul was like a 90. Like, it was just so much better than everybody else. It's like, it wasn't just a little better. It was like no contest. Like, he just crushed them. Like, he just smoked them. You know how you have those runners that they're on their race, and they just like, you know, they just running. They're just actually their only competition is themselves. That was Paul. And so I was like, man, this guy, it's not even close. So obviously he was the guy. So I hired him, and I've never edited another video. You know, and my wife was so happy because, you know, it was just a time, but I like doing it. Okay. It was a creative release for me. And that's one of the big reasons I did it, was because I just enjoy doing it. There's going to be things in your life that you just enjoy doing, right? Hobbies and things like that don't really, like gardening and things like that. Like, you're not making money from it, but you just like doing it. Okay. Now, the moment that it becomes a burden, the moment that you start to complain and say, man, I wish I didn't have to do this, or crap, I need to be, you know, I'm missing Bible study, you know, something like that. When it starts to get like that, you know, it's time to move on. Okay. And so that's what it was for me. And for you, what I want you to think about is red light, green light. Red light is, you know, somebody else could do this. Green light, only I can do this. Okay. I learned this technique from John Kitchens, a fantastic coach. If you're looking for a really, really good coach, John Kitchens is like a really, really, really good coach. And so anyway, I learned this technique from him, and he, so basically, like, okay, let me give you an example. You get up in the morning and you brush your teeth. Okay. Is that a red light or a green light? Let me hear from you. Green light means only you can do it. Red light means someone else could do that. Okay, let me see. What's going on with my chat? My chat is like totally blank. Okay, here we go. What do y'all think? Green. Somebody says green. Yeah, because brushing your teeth, like, you probably have to. I mean, somebody could argue with me that you probably could get somebody to brush your teeth, but you know, that's nah. But now, making your bed, is that red light, green light?
It's a red light.
That's straight red. That's all the way red. Okay. So there's a lot of things that you do in your life that you actually don't have to do. You know, washing the dishes, doing the laundry, taking the dog for a walk. I mean, now I'm not saying you're going to give up doing these things. I'm just saying, let's play the game of red light, green light, so you can see what is it that you actually have to do, and what kind of things could you delegate if you had, like my friend Ann McCallum, $100 million. If you had $100 million like Ann has, what could you like not have to do? You understand what I'm saying? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You don't even have to have 100 million. You're like, if I had 10 million, I wouldn't. If I had $1 million, I wouldn't do this. So Laquita says, people make their beds. Yeah, I get you. I feel you. So that's the exercise I want you to do. On the next page, we're looking at, this is a system that I created for the listing, you know, for a listing. So in my listing business, we have 46 different steps, okay? Step 1 to 46. And you'll notice that there's step 1 is to generate a lead or generate the seller prospect. And then all the way down here is even after it closes, there's a lot of duties that happen. See, what I discovered, and I'll show you guys maybe tomorrow or sometime, I'll show you that I actually have a color coded one of these where I color coded it by who does what on our team. And what I discovered was that on this list, okay, look at this list of an average listings. Most of you are in real estate, not all of you, but most of you are in real estate. So you kind of identify with this list. Generate the seller prospect, initial phone consultation with seller, send seller prospect your follow-up email, input the prospect into your database, do a CMA, phone consultation, all this stuff that happens even before the listing appointment, okay? Confirm the listing appointment and request the seller homework be filled out, conduct the listing appointment, okay? These are 11 steps from the time you generate the lead to when you have the appointment. Now, then there's a listing setup. You got the listing, you got to set it up, then you got to service the listing, then you have to do contract to close, and then there's post-closing. Now, guess how many of these activities I personally do on a listing for my team? Okay. If you guess 0, you're right. But yeah, if I didn't, let's say I didn't have any real estate agents on my team and it was just me as an agent, and all I had was administrative people that were unlicensed. Okay. Did you know that there's only 3 to 5 of these items on this list that require a license, depending on where you live? Okay. So the truth is, of this list, the only thing that I personally would do is I generate the prospect. Okay. I would personally go on the listing appointment. Now, there was a time in my life where I didn't go on any listing appointments for years. I didn't go on any. I had a team member that did that. And I paid them. I gave them 30% of every listing just to go on the appointments. But I, you know, so there was a time when I did that for years. So I generate the seller prospect. I conduct the listing appointment. I still like to do the CMA. Okay. So I still do that. I just personally like to kind of know, but you really don't have to do that piece. And then I negotiate offers that come in, which is right down here, step 33. I don't do any of these other steps. Okay. I jump right to step 33, negotiate any post-inspection items. And that's it. I don't do anything else. I might review the settlement statement with the seller, but I'll do that via Zoom. And most of the time I use Loom, L-O-O-M. I use Loom and I do a video walkthrough of the HUD-1 settlement statement. I ask them to call me with any questions. So there really are only 3 to 5 items on this list that you personally have to do when you take a listing. Now, most agents choose to do all these things. I don't know why, but they just do. Okay. Maybe they don't know there's any other way. Like, you know, they don't know there's another way to operate the business. And maybe they even think that by hiring people, they actually have to spend money. Okay. I did a whole training. Some of you guys were on that training where I taught you how even your administrative staff should cost you 0. How much? $0. Okay. How many of you guys think that Paul actually cost me money? You'd be wrong to think that. Paul makes me money. Okay. And so the reality is there, and we'll talk about this. I think there's a place where I talk about this. If not, remind me. So who do you hire? How do you hire? What tasks can you delegate to your current team of people? Okay. How can you generate fresh revenue with this hire so that your hires pay for themselves? So the way you know what you can do is, again, you rate it 1 to 5. All these things on this list, I rated 1 to 5. Okay. Do I like having an initial phone consultation with the seller questionnaire? Not really, but Barbara loves doing that. So she does it. Okay. Do I like sending the prospect a follow-up email after we discuss, no, I don't like doing that. Why would I like doing that? Okay. She does it. Okay. So if it's not a 4 or 5 for me, I don't do it. Okay. Let me go back to the key again real quick. Okay. This is the key right here. If it's not a 4 or 5, I don't do it. I got to either really like it or love it. If there's things in my business that I like doing, I'm not going to do them. I'm not going to do something I like doing. I got to either really like it or love doing it, or I'm not going to do it. If I hate doing it, don't like it, or like it, it gets delegated. Okay. That's a rule of thumb. Now, also green light, red light tells me the breadth of everything that could possibly be delegated if I chose for it to be delegated. Okay. And so that's how you kind of get an outline of what you could give away to someone else. And then you decide what is it that you are going to give away. Okay. Now there's a big word that I'm going to drop for you guys. It begins with a T and it ends with a T. And it's a big reason why a lot of you guys don't hire. Big reason. I've coached enough to know that this is the #1 reason why agents don't have help, or why entrepreneurs don't have more help. It's basically trust. Okay, you just don't trust people. Nobody can do this better than me. Nobody can enter it into MLS as good as I can. Nobody can upload the documents to SkySlope like I can. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. You're the superhero, the genius of contract to close. Like nobody can contract to close like me. And that's just a self-limiting belief. And it's just the ego. It's just the egoic mind that believes that there's not another person as good as you. But the reality is there are people far superior to you that are on a that you could pay a lot less than what you would charge somebody else to do it. Would you actually do contract to close for someone? I mean, maybe you would, but I want to move you away from the $12 an hour work, the $15 an hour work. And if you're not making at least $1,000, my coaching, people ask me all the time, well, how much is it for one-on-one coaching with you? It's $1,500 an hour. Okay, let me say it again. $1,500 per hour to coach with me. Okay. If I'm not making at least $1,500, it's not even worth my time. That's why most of the stuff that I put out is free. I don't charge anything for it. Okay. From 90% of what I put out is free. There's no charge to it because it's just, you can't pay me enough. It's just here, just have it, take it, So usually when you find me training, I'm doing group training, because then I can, it's enough to kind of like, okay, this is worth my time or whatever. So that's where I want you to be. If it's not $1,000 an hour, you don't do it. Okay. That's very important. Now let's talk about creating fresh revenue. This is going to be an important concept for you. How do you create fresh revenue so that your hires pay for themselves? Okay. So I want you to think about this for just a moment. There's a lot of ways you can do this. One of the ways that I did it in my real estate practice and still do is I had an administrative fee. I'm going to give you a couple of different ideas. We're not going to go down the rabbit hole here. I'm just going to share with you some concepts so you understand that I've never paid for a staff member. Let me say it again. I've never paid for someone on my staff ever. Okay. Now, it used to be, well, I'll just give you an example. So for every transaction that I do on a listing, okay, I charge a $595 transaction fee. How much? $595, $600 on every single one. I did it on the first listing that I took in 2003, and I did it on the one I closed last Friday. Okay. And this has been 20 years. I've been charging $595, $595, $595 on every deal. Okay. If it's a $150,000 deal, $595 transaction fee on top of my commission. Okay. If it's a $700,000 deal, like we just closed on Friday, $595. If it's a 1.2 million, 1.7 million, like I closed for one of my clients, $595. Okay. Now, if I do 50 deals a year, how much am I making in transaction fees? $30,000. Okay. Now, when I was doing high level of production, I was doing my last year in what I call real production. I did 153 deals as a solo agent. Okay. But I had a lot of administrative staff, which is the reason I didn't work any Friday, Saturday, Sundays. And I was working, 3 hours a day in real estate, doing 153 deals a year. Okay. Now, how much did I make in transaction fees when I was doing 153 deals? A lot, almost 100,000. Okay, almost $100,000. Like it was like over 90 grand. So that covered all my administrative costs. So the point is, you know, the idea here is that you can actually do a number of things. Like, let's say, for example, today, like, for example, if I was going to hire a VA, virtual assistant, let's say I'm going to pay $1,000 a month for a VA. Okay. Well, you guess what I'm going to do? All right. I'm going to create a product. I'm going to charge $200 for it. And I'm going to sell 5 a month. And that's going to cover the cost of my VA. What's the product going to be? Well, I don't know. I'm going to be teaching something. I'm going to say, okay, I got this product over here. It's $197. Okay. You want to learn or come to this boot camp or come to this or come, whatever. I'm going to have some product, or I'm going to charge, or I'm going to do a group coaching program, or there's all kinds of things that you could do to generate. I like the transaction fee idea because it's easy and you just put it onto the transaction. If you know how to sell it, a lot of people don't know how to sell it. You know, they're like, oh, I don't know how to sell it. I get people stepping over themselves to pay the fee because they know that, you know, it's like, I'll give you an example. Like, if you go to a certain movie theater, okay, there's a certain movie theater that I like to go to in Austin, Texas. They'll give me a blanket, okay? They'll give me a pillow. I can order a glass of wine if I want, or a beer. I can order a cheeseburger if I care to have that, okay? And they'll bring all that stuff to my chair. You refill my popcorn, everything, okay? Now there's another theater. It's called, you know, it's Bargain Theater or whatever. They play the same movies, but is the price the same? No. What's the difference? The experience, okay? And I tell people all the time, I'm like, yeah, you can go to the such and such theater. If that's where you want to watch the movie, I'm not, you're going to want to go watch the Avengers at that theater. I'll give you a high five, but I'm not going. I'm going to this theater over there where I know I'm going to have everything that I, at my disposal. So when you list with me, you're getting a whole different level of service than when you list with that guy, and you're going to have my whole staff. By the way, I have 3 people that are my administrative people that are going to help on this transaction, not just me, but there's going to be 3 of us. Actually, there's going to be 3 plus me. There's 4 people working on your deal. Now, would you rather have 1 person working on your deal? And I'm busy, just like that other agent you met with. They're busy. They're all over town. You think that if a call came in right now and I'm sitting here with you, a call came in on your house, I'm going to have time to answer that call? Of course not. That's why I have a whole team, just like a captain, that gets the ship from here all the way to the destination. The captain's not handing out peanuts and handing out soft drinks and giving you a blanket or a pillow when you need one. Do you see the captain doing that during the flight? No. We got a whole crew. And by the way, it's not going to cost you double for the fact that I have a whole team, a whole crew of people helping. It's just an additional $595. You're already paying me 30 grand. This is just another $595, and that covers their costs for $595. And by the way, you don't even have to pay it right now. It's payable at closing. And if I don't get success for you, you never have to pay it. It only comes due when I achieve success. So it's not even a question. Like, it's not even, people are like, well, what kind of pushback? I don't get pushback on that because I know how to sell it. I know how to present it. And so what I want you to think about is what kind of revenue the question is not, people tell me all that, well, I can't afford it, or when I can afford that. That's the wrong question. That's the wrong statement. The statement is, how can I afford it? The question is, how can I afford it? It's not when I can afford it or I can't afford it. It's how can I afford that? That guy wants $2,000 a month. How can I afford that? Let me think about this for a minute. How can I afford that? I guarantee you, I come up with all kinds of ways to make $2 grand a month as a side hustle, a side business. Okay. That guess who runs the side business for me? My hire runs it. So what I do, so basically my practice is I take about 10% of that new hire's time and I set up a separate small little business. Okay. Like, let's say you're real good at working new construction leads and you just perfected it over the last 6 months. So now you take a small group of agents locally. You say, look, I'm doing the new construction business. I'm crushing it. I just closed 3 deals. And if you want to learn along with how I'm learning, I'm going to be doing a class twice a month. We're going to meet for an hour. It's $100 to join. I'm only taking 10 people. Okay. Now you get 10 people enrolled. You got $1,000 a month. That covers your VA. So there's all kinds of ways. And by the way, the VA is now administrating that group. In other words, you got a little Facebook group with it, you got whatever you got going with that, your VA is in charge of all that. They've got questions. Guess what? Your VA is handling all those questions and everything. So you don't even have to run that business. You only have to invest 2 hours a month of your time. And now you got your $1,000 a month coming in, covered the cost of your VA. I do that kind of stuff all the time. You guys see me, you're like, man, Knolly just came up with another thing, a boot camp or this and that. You don't know. I'm just funding something. That's how I do it. I'm teaching you. See, I'm committed here to teach you how I do things so that you can duplicate that in your business. Is that okay with you? Is that all right? Okay. So you really never have to pay for a staff member. There is a lot of psychology around working so much and why you don't delegate. We won't really get into that today, but just suffice it to say that many studies have been done, especially from people that don't feel worthy. Okay. That you don't feel worthy. You grew up not feeling that you deserved what you have, or that you feel like, you feel like you got to work to get it. Like it's unfair for you to just have it without working hard. Like you don't even want it without working hard. We're talking about grace. We've been studying grace in scripture at church, and this whole idea about, the fact that Christ, my understanding, Christ paid the price and it's a free gift, and I can't add anything to the free gift of salvation, but I want to add something to it. I always do. I'm like, but man, hey, you mean I can't pay part of the bill? Like, nah, man, we don't like people paying for us. Like, you go out to eat. Like, well, at least let me catch half. I don't want to have to owe you nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so this is just a mentality. It's the way we were raised. It's the way we've been taught to believe. If you want something, it's got to come hard. It's got to come through. Just like the old farmer we were talking about yesterday. I was telling Jessica about the story. The old farmer, somebody told him, and he believed it, and he put a stake on his whole life into that. And here this is a skinny little kid walking up talking about, that's my house over there. That's my mansion. Okay. And it just unraveled everything that he ever believed had been a lie. And I got to tell you, most of what you've been taught has been a lie. It's just not true. It's just not even remotely true. Okay. If you really had even an inkling of how things actually are created in this realm, you would be on such a different place than where you are right now. You don't even know, how do you unlock the mysteries of the universe? Okay. Tesla said it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find his quote. Some of you guys can quote this. Tesla says, how do you unlock the mysteries of the universe? Let me see if I can find his quote on that. Hold on. I have it written down, but I just want to pull it up to see if I can just go right to it. Anyway, I'm not seeing it, but he said that the mystery, if you want to understand the mysteries of the universe, you got to look basically in energy. You got to look in basically in the energetic field, in the energetic realm. That's where all the mysteries, frequency, he said frequency, energy, and there's one other thing he said. That's how you're going to unlock the secrets of the universe. Okay. Vibration. There you go. Vibration, energy. And what was the other one? Vibration, energy, and frequency. Yeah, I just said it. And that's true. See, science is just now getting up to where Nicole, who said that? Thank you for saying that, by the way. I want to give props. Who was it?
Laquetta.
Oh, Laquetta. I kept saying Laquetta. In my neighborhood, it's Laquetta. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
know
it's
a few. Yeah, I know a few Laquettas. Yeah.
All right, Laquetta. So thank you, Laquetta, for that. Yeah. Frequency, energy, vibration. And scientists are now proving that what he said was boom, right on. So that goes into the whole delegate. The way that you delegate, I'm going to put a cherry on top of this. The way you delegate is, first of all, you got to figure out what are you going to give someone else to do. And the way you figure that out is you create a rating system, 1 to 5. You rate everything that you do, Like I even rate, like teaching this class. I mean, I do this all the time. And I actually flag, what I do is I have a to-do list and I actually flag things that I know that I have to do. And there's a lot of things that I think that I have to do that I really don't. So like if you look at, this is, I use the reminders app on Apple, and you look, everything that has a flag next to it, see all those flags? That means that I don't have to do these things. They do have to get done, but I don't personally have to do it. Now, it doesn't mean that I have the person on my team right now that can do it. Okay, let me say that again. It doesn't mean that I have a person on my staff currently that can do that task that I need done. But it just means that actually in the grand scheme of things, if I had, a team member, I really don't personally have to do that thing. Okay. And so I want you to kind of look at it from that standpoint, and then you begin to see, okay, what am I going to do and what am I going to delegate? And I will submit to you that 10% of the things that you currently do will probably still have to be done by you. But there's over 90%. In fact, on the listing game, what I discovered was that 91.3% of all activities could be delegated. So I delegated all of it. And that's how you actually delegate. And then now delegation goes into, we'll get into that tomorrow, where you create job descriptions and all that. We'll get into more of that. We'll kind of go deeper down the rabbit hole. Any questions? We're at time. We are done. We're finished, but I'm going to see if anybody has questions. I'll stay on for a few more minutes. But if you need to run, I know some of you guys are like, man, my neck hurts. Like the back of my neck is hot. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. So if you need to run, I love you. IDOs, you can unmute, say goodbye. I'll stay on for about 10 more minutes. I know Sandra has a question. A few others might have questions. And then we'll continue back again tomorrow.
I have a question and a suggestion. My background, of course, is epidemiology, medical research. So it would be really, really cool.
What does that even mean? Like epidemiology? Like I don't have no clue what you just...
Study of diseases at epidemic levels.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Epidemiology at that. Golly. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what I did in Kaiser and Oakland and Vallejo. But my thought is that I've heard you talk about delegate before, but I'm more excited now to do it. And I think it would be great if you had your whole mentorship program, just do it as a challenge, just all a group of us just do it, just step off that cliff, put that left foot out there and just know that everyone will show up and get the job done. When you say you're a part of my team, I think that's all to me. That's what I'm getting ready to make phone calls and say, you're a part of my team. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And as a part of the agent attraction also, they don't have to be with EXP yet, but I would want you to be a part of my team. And it just feels possible. I never heard it sound more possible than I did this morning. It would be awesome to have a challenge. So.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is once you realize that you really don't have to pay for that person, but you just have to figure out how to pay for them, then it really becomes fun and easy. Right. It becomes really, really fun and easy. So yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's a great idea.
Another seed planted. So thank you.
Thank you. That's a great idea. I love that. Jason Murdy. What's up, my man? I keep forgetting the
There we
spotlight.
go. What's that?
Oh, look at that. Paul's got him spotlighted. He's on it. All right, Paul.
Uh-oh.
Thank you. You on the
Make me
spotlight now.
nervous.
Hot seat. We're gonna change that to say hot seat. All right, go ahead, Jason.
So hot. So in regards to delegation, what about client communications? So if you did 150 transactions in a year, who's speaking with all those clients on a day-to-day basis? Sellers that need guidance with selling their home and throughout the whole process. Are you actively involved with each one of those 150 clients?
Zero. No.
Zero.
No,
Okay.
let me show you. So remember, see, this is all when you have a system, the system is the one that takes over. Okay. It's not just a person, it's a system. So my system starts with educating my clients. And I use this book right here called Consider It Sold, The Complete Guide to Selling Your Home. Okay. Now this guide has 8 chapters. It starts with deciding to sell. And I say, hey, Jason, you might not be a good candidate to sell right now. I don't know, because let's say, let me just give you an example, Jason. Let's say I saw you at the gym and I see you at the gym. We're both working out. I don't really high five you, but I don't really know you, but I've seen you there and we, hey, I recognize your face and I wave at you. Hey, what's up? We've been, working out at about the same time for the last 3 months. So I know you ish, but I don't really know you. Now, this other dude, I kind of know that person a little more and we talk and everything like that, but I don't really know you. Now, this other person comes over to me and says, hey, man, you know Jason? I'm like, nah, who's Jason? Oh, you know the guy over there. Oh, yeah, I know that dude. I've been seeing him for months. Yeah, he's thinking about selling his house. You should go talk to him. Okay. That's my buddy Carlos tells me that. Okay. Now, I don't really know you like that, right? So I'm not just going to come over you on the treadmill. I'm like, hey, Jay, your name's Jason, right? I heard you would think. Now let's play this out. Let's just say, for example, Carlos told me about you because I know Carlos and you know Carlos, okay? But I don't really know you like that. So I come over to you, I'm like, hey, your name's Jason, right? Man, I heard you were thinking about selling your house. Now, what are you going to be thinking?
How'd you find that out?
Exactly. Like, who told you that? Okay. Oh, I'm a real estate agent. I thought, man, I'm not trying to talk to no real estate agent. Wait, who told you that? Man, I was talking to Carlos in confidence. I didn't know he was going to go spread my business. Okay. Wrong approach. And I just lost. Okay. Now here's how I do it. I say, okay, Carlos, I got you, man. I'm going to go talk to Jason. Hey, Jason, man, Carlos and I were talking. He found out that I'm in real estate. Probably shouldn't have told me anything, but he mentioned the idea that you might even be thinking about selling your house. Now, because I'm in real estate, I have a free tool that I want to give you. I'm just going to leave this with you. I'm going to go, I'm right over here. If you have any questions, come up to me, but I'm just going to drop this off because it may not be a good time to sell right now, man. And then again, it might. And this book is my complete guide to, whether you're thinking about selling your house, how to price it, everything that I know about selling homes. Would this be a good tool for you just to give you this? Would you be okay if I give this?
You bring that with you in your gym bag?
Yeah, I have my stuff with me everywhere, bro. And you're going to see when this new book comes out, Uncle Knolly ain't going to go nowhere I don't go anywhere without my books. So
you're throughout your client process.
Now listen to me. Okay. So that's just the first part of it. And then what do? I give him the book and I walk away. I'm like, okay, man, have a good day. I'm going back over here. I'm not trying to sell you. Okay. Now what's going to happen? What are you going to do? You're going to be like, wait a minute. Come back. Hey. It's called the law of reciprocity. All right. I got a question for you. Now you want to talk to me. All right. Because I just gave you something, item IOV. Now you read chapter 1. It's all about deciding to sell your home. Now, chapter 2, marketing your home for sale. How do you market it? Chapter 3, pricing your home. How do you price it? So see, I don't educate my clients. I use this to educate them. Okay.
How many pages is that? I'm just curious.
80.
Okay.
80. Now, are they going to read it? Of course not. Who wants to read a book? Nobody wants to read a book. I wouldn't read it. But the reality is now my client says, hey, I say, okay, now we just we just, so first I gave you the book, then you invite me, say, man, come check out my house. 2 or 3 days later, you say, hey man, I've been checking out your book. Come check out my house and let me know what you think. Okay, I'll go check it out. So then you invite me over we do the listing appointment. All right. Then I say, hey, Jason, I want you to do this, and that back room. I need you to paint that one. You get whatever. I give you a list of things, whatever. I say, now, once it's ready, you give me a call. And by the way, I have a whole checklist here in chapter, right there in chapter 4, getting your house ready for sale. Once you finish everything in that chapter, you give me a call. Now I come, my person comes back out, gets the house ready for the market. And then it says, okay, then you say, well, how are we going to handle showings? Oh, that's in chapter 6. Everything about handling showings is right there. Now you read through that. If you have any questions, call my team. We'll be happy to help you answer any questions. They're not going to have any questions. Now we get an offer on the house. I say, hey, Jason, man, we got an offer on your house. I think it's pretty good. I don't know what you'll think about it, but I think it's pretty good. But what I want you to do, Jason, is I want you to read chapter 7. Okay. In the book, chapter 7 talks all about working with offers. You and your wife go through that, read through it. And then if you have any questions, let's chat after you've read that chapter. Okay. It's just about 6 pages. Is that okay? Yeah, no problem. Okay. Y'all read it together. You call me I'm like, Jason, you got any questions? Not really. Okay. So now we're going to closing. I say, Jason, the closing's next week is Thursday. Now I don't call him, Barbara does. Jason, the closing's next Thursday. Make sure you read chapter 8, because that's going to prepare you for the closing. Okay. Make sure you do everything that Knolly lays out in chapter 8. You'll be ready for the closing. See, these are called tools. Remember we talked about the system? Mm-hmm. So I have a tool for that. And then Barbara talks to them. And I tell them up front that they're not going to talk to me.
Oh, so is it Barbara speaking with them throughout the whole process?
The whole process.
Okay. She's the one that's advising.
But you got to tell them up front. You got to tell them up front.
Okay.
And that's at the listing appointment. I say, hey, Jason, have you ever flown on an airplane?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You have? Okay. Well, do you remember back in the day? I don't know if you're kind of young, but back in the day, I'm going to tell you what used to happen. There used to be a captain, there still is, a pilot of every flight. And you know what that guy used to do? Or the gal, before every flight, you know what they would do?
Shake
they
hands.
Would be there they'd shake hands. They're there to greet you. You probably don't remember that because you're too young, but they would actually greet you when you got on the plane. Hello, how you doing? How's it going? What's going on? What are you, yeah. Now, did you see the captain during the flight, Jason?
Nope.
Now, when the flight landed, who did you see? Who was the first person you saw when you got off the plane? The captain, shaking your hand. You did not see the captain during the flight. Now, Jason, once we get your property on the market, we're in flight. You're not going to see me. Okay. If you need peanuts, I'm just kidding with you, but you need peanuts, a blanket, a pillow, whatever you need. I've got a whole team that handles that. You're not going to see. I'm the captain. I'm in the cockpit and I'm flying this bird from here to Seoul. That's why we're going, right, Jason? We're going to Seoul, right? Is that our destination? Right. Mm-hmm. Now, when you see me, okay, when you see the captain during the flight, we got a big problem. We got a big problem. We see the captain during the flight. Unless he's using the bathroom and going right back in. I do not want the captain serving me peanuts. Do you?
Nope.
Not at all. And that's the reason why, Jason, I have a trained staff that's going to help you with everything you need during this transaction. Barbara's my key point person. Okay. And if you have any questions that she can't handle, she's going to go straight to me. She's going to get right back to you with that answer. But during the flight, you're not going to see me. Now, at the end of the flight, you'll see me again. It's called the closing. Okay. Now, I personally don't go to closings, but it's one of my team members does. So that part I kind of leave out, but they don't expect to see me. I've already trained them that if they see me during the flight, and sometimes, Jason, I'll be like, man, Jason, that dude's nice. I like Jason, man. Let me just give him a call. So I call you, like, you're like, is there a problem? What's wrong? Why are you calling me? That's what they do. They say, man, Knolly, why are you calling me? Is there a problem? I had to sit down. I don't even call my clients because I know, are you driving? They're like, I'm getting panicky. Why are you calling? They don't expect me to call them. Okay. So this is the way that when you work with a mega agent, Jason, Jason, this is the way we operate, man. And so when you're in your head and in your own world thinking you got to be the all and end all for the client, that's just a self-limiting. Now you can if you want to. I'm not telling you how to run your business. I'm just telling you how a guy that can do 150 deals a year and work in only 3 hours a day, because my work consists of what? Okay. Think about 150. If you took 150 listings a year, okay, you would go on 3 appointments a week. Each appointment would be how long? Maybe 90 minutes. Okay. So, and you would lead generate for 90 minutes. So you really wouldn't be working more than 3 hours a day. Everything else would be handled by someone else. And you're doing 150 deals a year. So but it's extreme, bro. And I have so many systems on top of systems that it'll make your head spin.
Yeah, we need a training on training admin. We
Yeah,
need a
yeah.
training on training admin.
On
That'd
how
be
to
great.
train the admin. Yeah, because most people suck. I mean, I can give you a real quick training on that, but I think that's a great training and one that the admin can come to and actually get trained.
All right, well, I won't keep any more time, but thanks so much, Knolly.
But does that make sense though, that you're understanding this now?
I got to get one of those books.
I mean, that's just a tool. You can use whatever you want. I'm just saying this is how I did it because that's like my little assistant in the field. That's my dog.
Yeah, it's
Like,
a great idea.
oh, and they call me up. They're like, and this is something that you got to understand this. My objective was to be the dumbest person on the team. Okay. Some of you, because your ego gets in the way, you want to be the smart. Oh, I got all the answers. And I get like that sometimes, but I want to be the dumbest person on the team. So if ever one of my clients did call me at the beginning of the relationship, they forgot what we talked about. And they say, hey, Knolly, man, I got a such and such, and I got a question. Oh, you do? Hold on 1 second real quick. Ring, 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 ring. Okay, I got Barbara on the line. What was your question again? Barbara, do you know anything about that? And then Barbara just talk. I put it on, I mute myself. You know what I'm saying? I used to have people call me, Jason, and they say, hey, it'd be other agents. And I tell them in the MLS, do not call me. I don't know anything about any of my listings. I don't know. And I'm the dumbest one on the team. They did, and finally they just like, man, we don't want to talk to you. You're just dumb. I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you. And they call me to say, hey, you know that new house you got on Cherry Hill? Oh, a new house on Cherry Hill? Is my listing? Yeah, you know, the one at 63 Cherry Hill. Oh, that sounds like a nice house. Well, tell me about it. They say, well, you know, the new one, man, it's, 4 bedrooms, 5. I was like, wow, that sounds nice. What's it listed for? I'm having them tell me, I don't know. They're like, well, can you see that? I'm like, man, that's a great question. Can you hold on a second? Let me boom, boom, ring, ring, ring. Barbara, I got an agent we got a new listing on Cherry Hill. Wow. Yeah, Knolly. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. We do have. Well, Barbara, he's got a question for you. Mute. I'm the dumbest one on the team, bro. And when you start operating that way,
I can aspire to that.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, I see Joshua in the house. What's up, Joshua? Thank you, Jason.
Hey,
I
how you
appreciate it.
doing? Be quiet, Poop. So what happened was, I'm a new agent.
What kind of dog you got? What kind of dog you got?
So it's not my dog, it's my girl's dog.
Okay.
It's a little Chihuahua mix.
Yeah.
I
I had a Chihuahua Pomeranian. So I could recognize that voice anywhere.
for sure.
Yeah, my Chihuahua Pomeranian lived to be 19 years old.
Oh wow.
So yeah, 19. Yeah, man. That was my heart right there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Anyway.
So I'm a new agent. I recently just got my license in January, but I'm under the Page Properties team with Bradford Page.
What's up?
Yeah,
You're the one that's doing the YouTube.
The 5-star
and video.
agent. That's me right there. Don't worry. In
Yeah, I like
workplace, I
that.
will be posting more in workplace.
Good job. Good job.
That. So I understand that we're talking about delegating, right? My biggest concern is, do we delegate when we have enough capital, or do we delegate when we're just trying to find room? Because I am I have award-winning videography and photography business, and I've been taking pictures for exterior and interior, but I know soon I will want to delegate that to someone else just to edit, and I'm just my biggest concern is really creating a system that, like you said, that works for me. What works for me is being in front of the camera, talking and having fun with what I do and meeting people. The editing and stuff, I really want to delegate that. And then I want to actually learn how to like cold call and actually have like conversations and stuff like that. Like even today, I'm sorry, everybody, I was waiting, but even today, I recorded myself doing like a follow-up video so I could send it all to the people that I contacted. Just like a minute short video, letting them know how the market's doing and how me and my partner are doing. I even been on 2 co-listings since I've been on Page Properties team. So I'm really trying to generate new leads, but I really want to attack it the best way I can.
Well, let me go back to the first question, because the big question is, how soon do I start getting help? How soon do I start leveraging my business? At what point do I start hiring people? And what I tell, especially when it comes to the contract to close, the paperwork, okay? I don't ever want to see my agents doing paperwork. Now they say, well, I got to know how to do it. Okay, I'll give you that. So here's what I'm willing to compromise. Do your first 3 transactions, your first 3 deals, okay? Do the paperwork, everything A to Z, and never do it again, okay? Because there are companies that will do your contract to close for you on a pay per deal. So I'm not advocating that you hire someone right away. You really don't even have to hire someone on your team until you're probably steadily doing maybe 3 or 4 deals a month, somewhere in there. And then you're like, okay, I'm at the volume where I think most of us would say 30. Even you could be even an icon agent and not have to necessarily have someone on your team, but you have to have someone in that position, okay, that you pay on a per transaction basis. And I would have them do listing to close, honestly, listing to close, and then just have them do it on a fee per deal, and then build that fee into your listing. Okay. So, and on the buyer side, I had the same thing. I have a transaction fee on the buyer side.
Okay.
Same thing.
So that's the buyer and seller side. You have a transaction coordinator to deal with that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it gets kind of, because here's the thing that we do, Joshua. We say, well, wait a minute, I don't want to pay that person $300. That's that could be my $300. All right. Even if you collected the transaction fee, 600, you're like, well, that's just an extra 600 plus I can save the 300. The problem comes in this. It's called mind share. It's a big concept that most entrepreneurs never get. It's called mind share. So like right now you have multiple businesses, right? So one business has a part of your head, another business has another part of your mind, and they're mind share. And even if you're not putting a lot of time into the other business, you are putting energy into that business. You're putting thought, and you're thinking about it. Okay. So the idea, like even paperwork, like I was talking to an agent, finally she went ahead and did, there's a YouTube video on my channel with Tammy Manning talking about how she got 21 listings in the past 90 days. How did she get 21 listings? Now, when she came to me 4 years ago, she had been a retired nurse. She wasn't doing 21 listings in 90 days. Now she's doing it like she just picked up 5 listings in the last 4 days. Okay. So she's just doing it like she's making it look like easy, right? But the truth is, when I met with her October of last year, she was still doing her own paperwork. And I said, Tammy, you got to cut it out. She's like, Knolly, but it's so easy. Like, I can't see myself paying. I said, but it's mind share. So right now you're thinking about, crap, did I upload that? Did I input this? Did I upload those pictures to email? Oh, I think I did. I'm not sure. Oh, what? Let me double check. Did I forget to get that signature on that? See, this is all stuff that's taking up your mind. And so what's happening is little things like that take up your mind. See, we only have so much bandwidth. Okay. And your iPhone doesn't care if the data on it is videos of kittens and puppies, or it's $1 million deal. It takes up the same amount of data. Okay. So when your bandwidth is full, it's full. And so the reality is your mind share goes away when you have stuff on your plate. Let me say it again. Your mind share goes away when you have stuff on your plate. Something happens when you delegate things, even if it's something that will only take you a couple hours to do. Something happens when you delegate it. It's no longer in your consciousness. It's just, until you trust that person enough that they're doing it. But once you have a person that you're like, this person is just on it. Like, it's just like the guy that cuts my grass. Okay. I don't think about cutting the grass. It's not even in my realm of consciousness. I don't think about it. Like, is the guy going to show up? Is he, now if I had to do it, I'd be thinking, crap, when can I make time to cut the grass? I got to, I'm not cutting the grass right now, but I'm thinking about it. My mind has it in there. And so this is a big problem for entrepreneurs, is that when they don't delegate, they're using up excess mind share that could be going toward that $1 million idea, that big idea. And like, so the question has to be, what's the highest and best use of Joshua?
The highest and best use of me?
Yeah, like that's the question you want to ask yourself. What is the highest and best use of Joshua? And that's the stuff you should be doing. like
Okay.
in front of a video camera. Like, okay,
Sure.
duh. Oh, editing the video? Nah, we got a lot of people could do that, but nobody can be Joshua on the camera, right?
That's true.
So yeah, this is a big problem that people have. And when it's these little tiny bits of time, like 10 minutes there, 5 minutes there, 20 minutes there. It's not the time so much as it's robbing you of the bandwidth of your brain. This is science. This is all scientifically proven that we only have so much bandwidth. And when we go over that, it basically doesn't allow time for the bigger ideas. And so for you, for example, if all you did with your 90 minutes a day or 2 hours of lead generation every day was make videos, I'd be more than happy with that. You know, go to you like meet people, make videos, meet people, make videos. I got no problem with that. Okay. And you're actually you're having fun doing that. Like you heard a gal earlier says, well, how many phone calls do I have to make? That's up to you. You know, literally, if you do enough videos, you'll never have to make a phone call ever.
Literally, because people would literally see your videos to call you.
You'll never have to make a phone call. You know, how many of you guys did I physically call to come to this boot camp? Raise your hand if I called you and invited you to this boot camp. Nobody. Okay. I see a hand raised. Hold on a second. Oh, no, this is something. But the truth is I didn't call anybody and say, hey, I got a boot camp. It's going to be this much money. I want you. How many people did I call to join Knolly coaching club? Paying $100 a month? None. Okay. So when you do enough of what you're talking about, Josh, but the truth is you only want to do your original question. You only want to do enough to understand how it's done. And then you want to move it off to someone else because you shouldn't be doing it, period.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Josh. And just keep following what we're teaching, man. You're going to have I know you're new. You want it all right now. You want to learn it all and bring it all in, but it's all going to come in due season. It's all going to come. You're in the right, you with Bradford, So,
yes, sir. I'm with Bradford.
So you're in the right place. You're good. You're
For
good.
sure.
Yeah. I'll take one more. If anybody, I know most of you, I want to see that dog though, Joshua. I want to see that all right. What's up, Vicky?
You say you want to see the dog?
Yeah, I got to see that little dog.
I got you. Come here, Pope.
So it's a she?
I don't know if you can see me.
Aw.
Oh, come here, Pope.
Aw, look at her. She's so cute. She's so cute. She's a cutie. All right, brother. Thank you. All right, we got who we got? Vicky in the house. What's up, Vicky? Man, look at me. I'm going way over for you guys because that's just love.
Yes.
That's love.
Hey, no. Tell your wife I said hi first and foremost before I forget that.
Thank you, Vicky. Will
yes.
do.
So I'm with Tammy. So one
Tammy.
Yes.
She's a beast.
She is. So one of the things
is Tammy there with you?
No, she's not. She's at home today.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But one of the things that she has us doing is the 10 video texts.
Yeah,
and
I do that. She got me doing that. She got me doing that. I'm doing that now.
Those are amazing.
That's
I love
fire.
It.
That's fire.
And kind of like what Joshua was talking about a while ago, he likes to be in front of the camera, and these are quick and easy. You just do 10 of them in the morning or whatever and send them off to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. And, just remind them what you do and just check in on them. And that was so amazing. See?
I've been ever since we had that meeting, I've been doing these every single day. I do 10 every day. And for those of you that don't share with them, Vicky, what you're talking about, because some people haven't watched that video yet.
So basically in the mornings or whenever you get a chance, just make 10 videos and you're just going to record it on your phone. And you're going to send it out to however many people. You can do more than 10. We just do like 10 a day. And basically always say is, hey, this is Vicky, just calling to check, see how you're doing. Hope everything's going, okay with you. Just sitting here in my office doing a little bit of work. You're not really selling them something. You're just reminding them what you do. Right. And I hadn't talked to one of my clients in a long time, and he immediately called me and says, hey, I need this piece of property. So it just gets
Yeah.
you back in front of the people. And at first I was nervous because I don't like videos. But Tammy's like, just do it. So I did it. And now I'm just like, okay, we're whipping these things out of here. But they're really fun. It brings your people, especially people you don't talk to that much, just send them a video text and they immediately start responding back to you. So
Yeah,
it
I'm all
is
over it.
good.
I'm all over it. And so what and they're custom. So it's like, I'm like, hey, hey, Tammy, this is Knolly Williams. And hey, Tammy. I mean, you don't even have to say who you are because you're texting the video.
Right.
Just hope you're doing well. I just saw on Facebook, you guys got a new puppy and this happened. And I just thought, hey, I just stop by and say hello and just see how you're doing. Let me, and it's just a quick, it's like 1 minute and it's just beautiful. And people start reaching back out like, hey, wait a minute, I was just thinking about you, or I need help with this, or I need that, one gal, she told me she did a check-in like that and she got a listing, like a $2 million listing. The person was like, hey, I'm glad I forgot you were in real estate. Yeah, we need to sell our house. Okay, no problem. And it's not even salesy. It's just you're checking on them. Beautiful. It's a beautiful strategy. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for reminding us of that, Vicki. But I've been doing it every single day since we had that training with Tammy. And I found it to be extremely helpful,
It is. Yes, a lot.
Oh, cool. Thanks for reminding us of that.
Mhm.
Okay, well, with that note, we're going to just go ahead and stop right here. I don't think there's anything in the chat. So let me see. Doing great. Okay, nice. That's my man Arthur Barnes in the house. He just left me a private message here. Thank you so much, Arthur. I appreciate that. That's love. All right, well, I tell you what, we got a lot of ground to cover tomorrow. You guys have homework to do. And if you have any questions whatsoever around the homework, post it right there on the Facebook group. I am on Facebook this week because I'm monitoring the homework. I'm hoping that you guys are getting so much value. Like this is going to be, I want this to be like 10,000, like, man, if that class was $1,000, I would have done it. Okay. That's the kind of value I want to give you. And we still got 2 more days. If you came in late, like Jill, we love you, Jill. It's all good. Because we have everything recorded, you'll be able to listen to the recordings and catch up. So until tomorrow, at what time? 10 o'clock Eastern. We will see you then. And I love you. And I'm signing off. Adios.
Bye, Knolly.
Thank you, Knolly.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Adios. Bye, Jessica.
Thanks, Knolly.
You bet.
Is anyone else on here?
Thank you.
Adios. Bye, Jill.
Hey, real quick, Knolly, when I do the video or when she was talking about the video, is it through the text message?
Yeah. You just do a text video. Yep.
Okay.
And you just open up your text app, and then you just instead of sending a text, you just hit the video icon, and then you just start recording yourself. Hey, Jill, hope you're doing well. Don't forget, the class starts at 10 o'clock.
No way.
Okay. All
right.
right.
Right on. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey, Knolly, one last question. Is the homework the 8 pillars? And the
No,
4
that's a great question. Actually, it's a great question because I don't think I was clear. The homework really is going to be to write down everything that you do, and everything that you do. And this is going to be homework that you do over the next probably 3 days. Is write down everything that you do every day, and then give it a green light or red light. Green means you have to do it. Red means it could actually be given up. Even if you don't have anybody to give it up to right now, you could actually not do that. And then rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. That's the homework. Okie doke. Hasta mañana.
Thank you.
You're welcome.